All right. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. How you doing today? Welcome to I Am Sure Sports. I am Omar Stennett. Again, let me tell you how delighted I am to be around for one more day. Every day we give thanks for life, you know. Give thanks to God because we have life and we have it more abundantly. Yeah, this week we have one more JPL review show, right? We begin at 2, but I'm on here early because I have some other sporting information I want to share with you. You know the drill. Once you come on, please like the video, subscribe. You understand me? Share the video. Let someone know that the JPL show is about to start. The review show, review and preview show. We have a we have a surprise. We have a surprise for you today. Big surprise. Um, Gonna be a part of the show. So once you come on, let us know, man. Save your questions for the back end when we be open to receiving your comments and your questions as we get our panel up and ready, right? But you know how it is. We normally have our little introductory video that we play at the beginning, and then once we do that, we get into the meat of the matter. So stay tuned, listen up, and enjoy.
I am sure sports. You know me there. I'm coast to coast representing. I mean, say this is right just representing for Omar. You don't know, come get the sports over here from near and far. Boy, 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 boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know no game play, that me not say it. If me never see no game, me no know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you a go love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment. Let me know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, man. So there you have it. Yes, again, big up everyone who is watching either on our Facebook feed or on our YouTube feed. You understand? Big up Nikolai Finlayson, big baller from Petersfield. People, I don't even know this, but Nikolai and my brother played on the same Petersfield team. That was a good Petersfield team. And by that time, Big Ball and Bota and all of these guys, played several years for Reno. He plays for Waterhouse now, captain in that side. He's an elder statesman. Think he's going to get into coaching because he has that kind of a thing. Nikolai, you're out there. Let us know because one of these days we're gonna have him on to tell us, what he plans to do on football out in the West, how he plans to help to revive football out there, because man, football has changed significantly out in Western Jamaica. We need to bring back the glory days. Yeah, we need to bring back the glory days because it has taken a hit, and I think the pandemic is going to affect things more. And most of you would remember the days of Reno dominating the Premier League when they had the Western Super Cup at the Frome Sports Ground. And they have teams like Wadada Seba, Violet Kickers, and Reno, when it was almost a guarantee that team like Rossies are going to be vying for the Da Costa Cup title. But so much has changed with football out in the West. And like I said, we're hoping that people like Nikolai and other lovers of football who are from the West can go back and give back to Western football. All right. Before we get into the JPL show, as you know, the Olympics have started. good while now, but for us Jamaican, it really starts when track and field starts, because that's when most of our Jamaican athletes, our representatives at the Olympic, they bow into action. And I must say, good going so far. We in track and field we have had 18 persons, and the 18 persons that entered, I think 14 of them advanced to the next round, and so that's good. That argues well. I think the disappointment would be um, for Frederick Dakers, who did not go through. I think he may be disappointed, but he has been having a rough season, so we understand that. And our two shot putters, females, I think they struggled as well. So, but looking forward, all the athletes on the track, they look well. The mixed relay teams also qualified, and yeah, so just looking forward to yeah to what is going to happen, especially in the women's 100 meters, because, like I said, everyone is looking so good. Also, Jamaica, let me just give you some advice. Number one, very important. We did some videos on the channel. Um, Pioneer, Pioneer, regular caller on the sports program and local radio. Knows track and field very well and basketball. He has 3 shows that he did on the channel this week. I want you to go back and listen to them. He gave his prediction as it relates to the certain events, the 400 meters, the 400 meters hurdles, both male and female, the 100 meters. So I want you to go back and listen to those. And you understand me? Very, very good videos. You'll be very impressed in terms of his analysis and his overview and expectations. And so looking forward to that. So go back on the channel and watch those videos. Yeah, man, big up, big up, big up, big up, big up. Stickman just joining. Much respect. So great to have you on. Remember, once you come on, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do so. Yeah, man, subscribe to the channel. Support the movement. We're doing better. We're growing slowly but steadily. Yeah, and much respect to all the other vloggers out there. So many persons. Listen, these platforms have provided, just a good avenue for so many persons. So many persons who would not have been able to they would not have been able in the pandemic in particular to have a place to express their sporting views and thoughts, or to be able to follow up with all that was happening. And the pandemic gave a rise. It gave a rise to all of these platforms that are providing good sporting content and discussion. And so grateful. I mean, you have some good guys out there. You have Sports Frenzy. You have the Coach's Desk, Formula Sports, Ryan LFC, Sports Down the Middle. So many others. Impact. I mean, so many others. I may have forgotten some of the names. Unseen Sports TV. So many persons out here putting out good content. People trying to express their views and their thoughts. So, lend some support to what is happening. And tune in. Yeah, man. Give them a listening ear. And thing also, you'd have known that Jamaica, we were knocked out of the Gold Cup. And I mean, many people are disappointed. There is a level of disappointment that I have, but I always like to look at the big picture. And part of the big picture with this knocking out, I think if we had somehow advanced to the final and say won, I think that would have probably fooled ourselves to believe that the crop of players that we have would have been able to bring us to the World Cup, right? Help us to qualify for the World Cup. So I am glad that we have had this kind of setback. And let me say I'm not glad. I am disappointed, but I see a bigger picture. And the bigger picture is this Gold Cup showed up even more where we need to make major adjustments with our team if we have any desire of progressing in the World Cup campaign, right? And I think that is what this has done, and for that I am very grateful. It would have been good if we went on and won, but I also believe if that happened, it would have covered up some of the areas that we have major issues and challenges. And I think because of us being knocked out, then we can look at plugging some gaps that we have, areas that needs to be filled in terms of this present team, areas that need to be improved. And so, um, yeah, I must say as well that I was very impressed with if there's one player who stood out that probably surprised most people, it is none other than Corey Burke. I think Corey Burke has done enough to warrant a place in the team moving moving forward, right? And so, yeah, so I think that is good. I think he may not be the starter in the World Cup campaign as a center forward. Um, yeah, man. Thank you so much, Jerry. Anyway, much respect, man. Much respect. Yeah, man. Bless up, right? Um, yeah, we may not use him as the primary striker going ahead, but he really gave a good account of himself. I think he was very hardworking, and he created a lot of problems, lot of matchup problems for the game that he played in. So we have to look at the bigger picture. If we had gone all the way to the finals and say we won it, it would have covered some of the issues that we have in this team. We still are a team that need to be strengthened in the midfield. Did you consider this? That if Liam Moore or a Damian Lowe got injured or got yellow carded, we did not have enough quality cover in central defense. All right. You saw how weak we look at right back and left back. They were competent players, but I believe we need to find better players in those two positions. Center back, left back and right back. And I'm hoping that the coaching staff, it's not that we can't use these guys that are there. There are 14 games. And I don't think the set of left backs and right backs we have can carry us through all 14 games, giving consistent good performance. So the pool and that area needs to be strengthened. I think we could do with 2 additional persons up front who are going to score goals. The good thing is that we are creating opportunities. But if you're creating opportunities and you're not scoring them, you're putting yourself under further pressure. And so we need a center forward who is way more clinical in front of goal than the ones that we have. So there are many areas that we need to address going forward. We must also bear in mind that we have not seen the best Mexico team. Mexico has players in their under 23 team. The goalkeeper, the number one goalkeeper is at the Olympics playing with the under 23s. They have at least 5 starters at the Olympics. They have 4 players who are out injured, right? Who normally start. And so really, if you look at this Mexican team, you could say that they were without at least 8 of their regular starters. So we can't really measure the quality of the Mexico team based on what we saw. The Canadian team who advanced the semifinals, they got knocked out by Mexico yesterday. They have 5 players who are sure starters out. The American team is a completely new team. I don't see more than 3 of these players possibly in the American team starting. And so the point is that if all of these teams are going to strengthen themselves for the World Cup qualifiers, then we must look at a way of strengthening our team. All right. I'm not saying that we must have all the players out of England, but we must get the best quality players. I think Damian Lowe has done enough to at least start. He has done enough. I think he played excellent during the whole thing. Andre Blake did well. And so we have to, yeah, man. What do you say, Tapa was out coach? Listen, I think, let me say it this way. I would say that because if a coach made changes and you never adjust to those changes, and those changes help to cause you to lose the game, then at the end of the day, the coach was out coach. But I also believe that his part of what Tapa needs to work on going ahead, if he stays in this position for the duration of the campaign, the World Cup campaign, is that have to he will have to find a way of managing the game better in terms of when he makes his change and why he's making those changes. I think he limited himself because when he played the high press in the last game against America, he didn't have enough personnel on the bench to bring in to make the changes. And what that meant for him is that he wasn't able to play what he really wanted to play because he didn't create enough depth in his squad selection. And I think that is something that he has to look at, right? I think he also has to get to a place where you have to measure loyalty and player performance. How loyal can you be to a player compared to what the player's performance is? He has to determine, do I honor loyalty or do I look at performance? Because I think it is something that he battles with. Do I play the player that has been loyal to me and I feel I can trust, or do I play a player who is playing a whole lot better on present form? He has to figure that out. And if not, he's going to struggle going ahead. So I hope that answers your question. But we have our first guest is here. Our regular guest. I'm going to introduce him right now. You know him very well. So let me just add him to the stream. Yeah, Mr. Speid. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. How you doing?
I'm not doing too bad. I'm okay.
Well, you're supposed to be full of energy because I know you came off a whole week of rest. No games last weekend.
No, I'm more tired because I have to be working extra hard to make sure that we keep up with the teams that play. So, we're in action again this week. So, no rest, as they say.
Yeah.
No
Okay.
rest.
All right. I think Barbara Davis put up. Oh, so what I'm saying, Barbara, is that I think he had a wider pool of players to select from that would have given him the ability that when he made the changes in the last game, he could have continued the pressing game. So I think that is what he has to fix. If you want to play a particular system, you must have ample players in your 23 that can play the system. So if you realize that when he took off Junior Fleming and Corey Burke in the last game, we weren't able to play the same pressing style because the players that he brought on are not good players, but they are not they are not
Yeah.
fitted. They don't fit
Uh,
the pressing style. And so
yeah,
I think that is what I'm trying to say. Okay. Yeah, but listen, at the end of the day, a coach has to play what he believes works for him. And if it is not working, listen, if Tapa believes that I can coach defense and that's what I'm going to focus on, then I'm saying go ahead, coach defense. But because result matter, if what you're coaching is not getting the results, you put yourself at risk of losing your job. And so I am not telling him to change his system. What I want him to do is to get the results. And I've always said this. As long as we get to the World Cup, I don't care if he plays an attacking system or a defensive system. Just play a system that gets us to the World Cup, and you, the coach, are capable of coaching. Because remember, coaching is not just knowing the system. Coaching is also knowing how to get the players you're coaching to know the system and to get them to play the system well. So it is good and well if he knows the system in his head, but can he communicate that to the players in a way that they can then do that? All right. Also, Bobby asking me why have the players? Well, you know what? That is Barbara. That is the thing. So this is something that I would like to clarify. At what point did he know that all the players were available. Because remember, even Andre Gray came in because East was injured. At what point did he know that a Kevin Stewart was available to him? At what point did he know that, Jamal Lowe? All I'm saying is that if he had those players, it would have been better for him to play the system that he wants to play. All right? Yeah. I'm not sure why we are blaming the coach. All right, listen, we're not going to get to the. We're going to come back to some of these questions at the back end, because if we do this, we're not going to get to the JPL, which is what we really want to focus on first. But Brian, I love this comment, and we're going to take it, right? I'm going to come back to it at the back end because Mr. Speid is here. So make sure you sharpen up your pencils or sharpen up your fingers to type your questions for him, because he has a lot of JPL questions to answer this week, because we want to hear about, what's going on with Cavaliers. Mr. Speid, welcome again.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, the people, they have a lot of reggae boys questions, so but let's
Yes,
get
you will answer those.
all right, as best as I can. All right. I'm saying you're already that Portmore looking like Barcelona.
No, as I said last week, somebody asked, yeah, they are the farm team. They look really good. They are, I can see the structure in everything that they do. They change their formation from three at the back to probably get more stability and more balance. And they have achieved it. They have added a couple of players in their roster. And I tell you, they are really looking good. And this is something that, we want the league to, that's how we want all the teams to look, and that's how we want the league to look. They look like a real professional overseas team.
Well, what I'll see how good they're going to look this weekend, because this weekend game, but we're not going to get into that first, because they have a very, let me say, that is supposed to be a very competitive game, their game this weekend. So, but we're not going to get into that first. Let's start at the beginning. Let's look back at the week that was. We had 5 games, as you all know. UE is out of the league this year, this season, and so every week a team gets a rest week, and so Cavaliers were resting last week, so no Cavaliers player will be on our team of the week because they weren't playing. You understand me? But the first game was talk to us. What are your thoughts on the Harborview versus Veer game? Well, I got that one wrong. I thought it would have been a 1-0 game, but 5 goals, 3 the odd goal in favor of Veer, 3-2 game. What are your thoughts on that game? Seeing that you kind of figured that something like that was would have happened.
Yes, because I saw Duki evolving, and I told you he's not just a defensive coach anymore. Truth be told, Duki is one of the most qualified coach in Jamaica. I thought Duki is a licensed coach from the USA. He knows stuff. So it's easy for him to build on a good base. So once I saw him doing that in the first couple of games, I said, he's gonna go after Humberland because they didn't have good form. And after that 3-0 scoring, he just continued on, and I expected him to do it. He's astute. He will have looked at Harborview and saw that there were weaknesses, and he was not afraid against Harborview. He played enterprise and he attacked them, and I expect Duki to start surprising a lot of people who wants to be surprised. I'm not surprised. I know how good he is, but so it wasn't surprising for me. I always knew that Harborview had problems closing out games. If you look at all the games, people come at them and they struggle to close out the games even when they're leading. So wasn't, even when you look at Mount Pleasant game against them, our game, they struggle in the second half. So it wasn't surprising for me that Duki did this, but I'm surprised that he's second in the league based on the team. So a lot of people quarreling again about preparation time. Duki had the least preparation time again. He's a big coach, and don't be surprised. He's gonna be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, a person said this. I thought his interview, Brian. I thought his interview was. I am wondering if he made up. I am wondering if he misspoke. But he says he never enters a game. I think this was the part of the interview he's talking about where Duki said he never enters a game trying to win. I'm not sure if he was playing possum or he he just misspoke. So, um, um, but I think what he said though is that he is not surprised um by the team, how his team is playing. Um, he was saying the reporter is surprised. And I think he sees that in preparation. I think as a coach, sometimes when you can see it in preparation. I just think Harborview were too open. Though the last goal was a deflection, because I think that ball would have gone to the goalkeeper. I think, and you know what I found is that right after, I think Krista J, like the goals just came so quickly. Like, you're most vulnerable when you just scored. And I think that was one of Harborview's problem. Like they never got back into their shape, and so they were hit on the high press or the counter by the Veer team.
Well, just to set off on the truth be told is that Harborview, Krista J scored 2 goals. But if you look at the goals, based on the caliber of the Veer goalkeeper, he should have
Yeah,
with
the
both of
second.
those.
Yeah, I think the
I
second
think
one.
both. No, I
Yeah.
think both. He's normally very hard to beat. So I don't know what happened. So the game could have been pretty much very different if it wasn't for the goalkeeping errors from
Yeah.
the Veer goalkeeper. But as I said before, take nothing from Lucky. Let me just explain to all the viewers here what happened when you do a license coach. They teach you how to beat everybody. You look at that's what the course is about. In a B license, they teach you how to play properly. In a
Oh,
license, they teach you how to beat everything. So every single drill, every single thing that you do in that course is, if a man play like this, what you do. So Duki is on top of his game. He knows what he's doing.
you know what he also said? He said that Harborview were expecting him to play a low block, so he surprised them, and he played on the press, like he saved his press for the last quarter of the game, and that was how he said he got the. I mean, so when you listen to him speak, you realize that he's very astute. He speaks about the different phases of the game, and that's one of the things I like how he did the interview, because he kind of explained like how he got the upper hand against Harborview. I think, look, because when you look at the goals, like when the goals were scored, because Krista J didn't start the game, so Harborview scored in the 51st minute to go 1-1, and then in the 52nd minute, so Harry scored in the 7th minute to give Humble Lion a 1-0 lead. Then Krista J Daly came on, scored in the 51st minute. Then Rose scored in the 52nd minute, a minute after that. All right, and then I think the same thing happened to Veer in the 55th minute. Krista J scored, though the keeper made a mistake, and then Plummer scored the winner in the 78th minute. So you kind of realize that the goals, how do coaches prevent this? What do you tell the players that prevent this kind of, like, right, why goals always score right after next goal score?
Well, that always happen, and goals score the first 5 minutes, last 5 minutes, first 5 minutes, the second half, last 5 minutes. It's a phenomenon that people have been able to explain, even though some coaches coach against it. But here, this is the drill. The truth is, when every score, you're supposed to play different. So if it's 0-0, you play different. If it's 1-0, you're supposed to have a game for that. If it's 2-0, you're supposed to have a game for that. If it's 2-1, so every score, the team is supposed to play different. That is what the well-drilled team does. So there's no surprise in that the team that scored first usually wins 70% of the time, because teams understand how they are supposed to play in different phases. But I think in this particular phase, based on the amount of goals scored in the 58 minutes on is that once Harborview equalizes, okay, I have them now. They didn't go back to be even-handed. So Veer scored back again. Then Veer said, okay, we'll kill them. And I think it's more a concentration problem why you're at that goals right in there. And usually it is a concentration problem.
Okay. Concentration. That's what I was wondering, because so many goals scored in such a short period of time. You wonder what somebody just said this. Veer defense organization is the best in the league. Do you need the best defenders, or do you need the best defensive system? What do you think works better Include.
Organization is good, but they are not the best. I mean, if you go by results, you have teams that concede less goals than players.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you wouldn't say that they are the best at this point.
Okay. All right. So that's the first game. So Christo J Daly with 2 goals. The next game, surprise result. Um, Dumby Holden 3, Mullines 1, Rodave Murray scoring, and Bailey for Dumby Holden he scored in the 12th minute. Bailey scored in the 25th and the 66th minute, and then Nicholas Hamilton with one more goal for Mullines team, suffering the second loss
You mean
on the
Nicholas Nelson?
Nicholas Nelson, second. Oh, former Cavaliers player. Let us just remind everybody.
Harris in the first match is a former Cavalier player too. That's good first goal for
Really?
yeah. Yeah.
But he's young. So how did he
Yeah,
leave?
he's 18.
Yeah.
I mean, he lives in Clarendon, so it was good for him to go there and get some experience.
Okay. Okay. So 3-1. What are your thoughts on that game? Second loss for new coach Anthony Patrick.
Well, I must tell you that Rodave Murray is a real quality player now. So I'm hoping that he's getting back his head together
Yeah, he's
because
looking.
he was actually the star of this particular league. They gave him a lot of room to work and he did take advantage of it. But I must tell you that, if you look at the Dundee lineup, they had like 5 changes to the team that started the week before that loss. So clearly the coach was cleaning house and clearly there was people here who was very motivated to try and get the win so they could go in the coach's good book. So they came out, they hustled, they played hard, had some good skills. And I must tell you that this is one of the matches that 2 really good goals were scored in there by Bailey.
Yeah, yeah,
This
very
was one of
good.
the matches that you saw some really good goals. The first 2 goals that Dunboyne scored, the goalkeeper had no chance, like no chance at all,
Yeah,
stopping any of those. And I was really wonderful to see those type of goals scored in our league.
yeah, very very good goal. I don't know. I think Mullines are going to struggle if they continue like this because normally with a new coach you get a little bump in terms of performance. I have not been seeing that. They kind of seem a little um so much of their play goes through the guy Farkison, Fabiki Farkison. And I think when he's not playing well, the team itself doesn't play well, and they are um dependent on what's his name, uh, Nelson.
Right. So there's 2 brothers of them. One play in the midfield, one play
Yeah,
um, up front. And Nelson is really a quality player, Nicholas Nelson. He is a
that's a
quality.
younger brother. Yeah,
Yeah, he's really a quality goal scorer, but he needs support. And Mullines, at this particular point, still finding their feet because still finding their feet. So it was a tale of 2 coaches who was new, just come back in the league, both coaches. And but I thought that Harold Thomas rang the changes, and I think that is what gave him the edge because there was no complacency about the players who went on because they know that he could revert back to another team, and there was no complacency about the people that came on as reserve. So I think he has them in the right space at this particular time, Harold, and I think he's just ahead of Coach Patrick at this point, and that is why they get the win. But I must tell you that those 2 first goals, they were worth going miles to see.
yeah. All right. The other game was the Barcelona of the JPL, Portmore defeating Humble Lion by 3 goals to nil. I thought some good goals were scored in this game, especially that last one. I think that was the goal of the round, the one that Shavani Willis scored. I like that goal, man. That goal was a very good goal. What are your thoughts at that game?
Right. So Portmore clearly, as we had said before, they were in a class by themselves. Portmore, in terms of the game, we knew how the game would go. You know, we know the game would go between Portmore and Umberland. Umberland has been having a wretched season. They changed their formation. They play something like a 3-3-3-1, which so they are trying different things. But Portmore all around quality was just too great. Portmore all around fitness was just too great. And in the end, the score could have been worse. I think Portmore take the foot off the gas a lot of the time and just knock around the ball. But it was always going to be this way. Portmore would win this game. I wasn't surprised.
What is going to happen with Coach Pryce? This is 5 games, 5 defeat. You're conceding the most goals in the league. And no matter who you put out there, you're getting the same results. You're ringing in the changes, and you're still getting bad results.
Coach Pryce is not an ordinary coach. He's also a director of Homeland. So maybe it could be that he survives the whole season and they just call this season a loss and then he rebuilds for the next season. So it all depends on what the club as a whole is trying to do. So we'll see. I know he's up against Water, so he's not.
That's why I didn't want to get it up because I feel like
not another easy game again.
I feel like it is half of your game now, and half of them you lose because
he has lost half. It's 10 games.
It's 10 games. So you have lost half of your games, and and I don't see the rebuild. What the problem I have is that I don't know. Maybe I'm missing it, and I don't know the players, but I don't see the rebuild. It seemed like a lot of mature older players, the Vanzes, these guys who have been in the league for a while. I don't see the rebuild.
But Vanze is a quality player. He still is.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about.
Still young enough.
Yeah, Vanze he's not close to 30.
Yeah, but he would be in his prime if he's doing all the right things, eating properly, training right. He will be in his prime at 29. So 28, 29. So I mean, but he needs help. And I don't know if the help is there.
Okay. Yeah, man. Okay, so it's a good thing there is no relegation because I'm very sure that if there were relegation, then maybe there would have been a change. I think they're probably keeping faith in the coach because there's no relegation. So good goals by Ricardo Morris, McFarlane, the St. Lucian scoring the second goal for the season, and then Shavani Willis scored in the 84th minute. And then the fourth game of the round was Mount Pleasant versus Arnett Garden. Kesani Hall scoring in the 79th minute, giving new coach Mr. Wally Downs a victory.
Right. So I that much. Arnett Garden tried. They really tried, but eventually you could see Mount Pleasant made some changes. They brought on a youngster by the name of Campbell. They brought on
Devontae Campbell, one of the 16-year, one of the guys from the academy. Yeah.
17. They brought on
Daniel Green.
So what they did was brought on some lively players. They took off some of the more pedestrian players. And then you could see the pressure start to build until Arnett Garden made a mistake and Kesanal was there to mop up across by Green from the right side. And Kesanal just heading unmarked and heading, So, but Arnett did battle away and tried their best to stay in the game. But those changes at the end, those 3 changes was the one that did the trick. And I always thought they were up against it, although they tried to get at it. But Arnett now have to make 2 choices. They need to decide if they stick to the young players and whatever happens, or they need to decide if they can carry back a few older players to help them steady the ship. Because as you can see, they're in a spot about that.
Yeah. Who kept for Arnett Gardens this round?
Oh, they had a new keeper, a national keeper, a national keeper.
I was surprised. I thought he was overseas. I thought he had an overseas contract.
No, that didn't work out. But he kept very well, though. He kept for long periods of time. He just didn't do anything about it. And I just wanted to say that Umberland national keeper will be back too. And there's a little rumor.
Oh, right. That's because he went away with the national team. Taylor. Yes.
And also there's a rumor that another former national player is on to Umberland. So
I wonder if his name is it starts with J. I wonder if that's I heard some rumors that a Jevon Watson maybe playing for Humberland. I don't know because I mean the season is so short. I am not sure that even if with the addition of these 2 players that they can make it to the top 6 at this time.
Well, Taylor is a real quality goalkeeper. There's no doubt about it. And Javon Watson is a real quality central midfielder, always going up in age. But you're right. This is one uncompromising league. They're not gonna get their any way about this. I mean, their way. It's gonna be a hard grind for them to really come get into six.
All right, Mr. Dimension. All right, so what we'll do, the Mr. Dimension, what we'll do, we'll take these questions at the back end because we want to focus on the JPL first, and then the Javon Watson all the way from the studio.
The studio brand.
No, he's into man. He's a recording artist, huh?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Aka. So you need to buy. You need to buy.
Google
Well,
him.
listen. I hear. Well, they want to get there because I hear people saying that he's going to play, hoping to 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 get back in a certain national team. I am not sure that is that is possible, but you just never know. Well, let's see if we will make any major changes to the performance of Humble Lion. The final game of the round was a Monday game where Waterhouse and Tivoli played to a 1-1 draw. I thought the goal scored by Andre Fletcher, brilliant. I just love the way how that ball came. He turned, and the turn alone beat the defender, and then he just slotted it. I thought that was a very, very good goal. And then the same thing happened. It's like almost after they scored, they just got open, and then Tivoli just a free header. I was, disappointed in how Nikolai Finlayson kind of never had his backline marking or watching. They had free header again right after a team score almost. There is an equalizer, one in the 62nd minute, and then in the 65th minute, the equalizer scores 3 minutes after. It's like after the celebration, ball goes to the center of the team scores.
Right. So what a lot of people don't understand about Tivoli. Tivoli actually has a very, very good coach. He's very meticulous. You could have seen his success at stats when I'm sure he has less budget and less quality player to work with. So he's very meticulous. The other thing about Tivoli qualities as a team is that they're a fighting bunch of persons. Going one down nil, they're not going to give up. They're going to keep on coming at you. That's what is in their nature. So Waterhouse, I thought, made an adjustment to counter what Tivoli brings. They played 4-3-2-1, something like that. Waterhouse played. That is different from the normal 4-2-2-2-2. And that was made for Tivoli to adjust to Tivoli 4-4-2, which Tivoli is a diamond.
Right.
So they to and play in the middle. So Waterhouse tried a tactical adjustment. What it did for Waterhouse is not let them flow the normal attacking game.
Yeah, they weren't as fluent attacking wise. I realize
right, and that is why I think they were able to put one in the Tivoli net. Because normally Waterhouse flew in attacking, so they would have attacked more. But they only had 3 people in attacking positions, and the rest were like playing for Waterhouse not to lose. Tivoli plays in a particular way. Also, they are very attacking, and also they have this high press game, and I think that was what really trouble Waterhouse right through the game for them not to be good. But the Gray is a quality player. I think he's our second goal for the season.
Yeah.
I think he's on loan from Portmore, and I think that
he's a Portmore player on loan.
Yeah, he didn't play against Portmore when Tivoli played.
That is true.
And that is why I'm saying he's on loan. I'm almost sure he's on loan from Portmore. I'm wrong.
And he seemed to be physically imposing as well.
Yes, so that player is not. Portmore usually have no talent, so that player is a very good player, and it's somebody that you have to watch. But I was a little bit surprised that Waterhouse didn't win. But then again, when I remember how good the coach is, and also the quality that Tivoli bring, that is not coached, I can understand why the game draw 1-1.
Okay. All right. Let me just state this. Until we improve our refereeing and coaching standard, we won't get anywhere in CONCACAF. Jamaica referees give players too much chance for bad. Let me just say this to this. All right. Mr. Dimension, all I'd say is that you need to watch the league, because the truth is the quality of the coaching. I don't know if you're watching the league, but if anyone watches this league and say the quality of the coaching and the quality of the officiating has not improved, is not being honest. I'm not saying that it is at the level that we want it to be, but I can tell you, if you analyze the games, listen. I watched Portmore make 22 passes in one sequence. I'm telling you that 22 passes in one sequence. I see games playing for and I see games playing. I don't see as much aggressive tackle. I've seen some things that I think needs to be dealt with, and I know we're talking about getting some video replays and taking retroactive action in terms of some of the plays. But I must say that there has been some improvement. The level of the coaching has improved. I mean, you have A-licensed coaches in the league. Duki is a good coach. Cavaliers have good coaching with Speed. I know Peart is working with Thomas down in Arnett Gardens there. Mount Pleasant has a pro licensed coach there. A very good coach. Portmore with Ricardo Gardner and their whole staff. They have a good coach. Waterhouse, I think, of an excellent coach. Harold Thomas, though, is an older coach, is also a good coach. So I think the coaching is improving. But the refereeing, I agree with you that the officiating, I don't remember, Mr. Dimension, a couple of weeks ago, we were trying to get Victor Stewart to come on and see if we can find a way to get out certain plays. But I must say, a few weeks ago, we had 4 red cards in 1 week. Since then, we have not had any more. Right, so I think there is a push by the players and by the coaches to cut out all of this dirty play. So I think it is improving. It's not where we want it to be yet. So, but yeah, it is improving. So I don't. Yeah,
If I just want to add to this,
yeah.
I just wanted to add to this that we discussed with the referee grouping that that we need referee standard to increase to be better, so that the standard of play could be better. We discussed it and we recognize that improved officiating is a pillar for improved playing, because we don't want to play one way in Jamaica and when we go overseas, we have to try to play some other way, because that wouldn't help us. So it is something that we recognize, and we know that the refereeing committee is working on it, and they were very happy that we included in our technical plan to improve football in Jamaica. As it relates to the coach, you're correct. Premier League said 10 years ago, we'd have had coaches that don't even have a qualification. Now we have pro license, A license, B license. So you're correct about that. The standard has lifted, and people with more knowledge. Knowledge is not unique to anybody anymore. People are getting the knowledge and looking and coming and applying it in our league. And you can see they week in, week out being applied. So I agree with you.
All right, wonderful. All right, so let us put up. We're going to put up the team of the round. We're going to take some more of your comments, but let us look at the you saw the team of the round that I sent. So this is the team of the round, people. So let's look at it. Let's find it so you can all see it. Yeah. Yeah, man. Are you seeing that? That is the team of the round. What are your thoughts? So we playing a 3-4-3 just because, you know, we kind of select we kind of play the position based on the quality of the players. And so we have in goal, we have Kemar Foster from Portmore United. You know, you have a clean sheet, so you get a spot in the team. We're playing with 3 at the back. We have Mayers from Portmore. He's a St. Lucian. Ladell Ritchie from Mount Pleasant. And Shaquille Dwyer, who is the captain of the Dumby Holden team. In midfield, we have Sigel Knight of Portmore United. He plays alongside Ricardo Morris, Bailey of Dumby Holden again, and Krista J. Daly from Harborview, who came on. And up front, we have Andre Fletcher from Waterhouse, Ricardo Dennis, and McFarlane from Portmore United. So Portmore gets 5 players in the starting 11 this week. What are your thoughts on the team of the week, people? Any changes to the team of the week, Mr. Speed? Or anybody you think could have gotten a spot in it?
Well, no. I mean, it's an opinion, so I'm not going to go against it. The truth be told is that Portmore did look like the best team. The other teams that won were a little bit more scrappy than Portmore. But it must be, and I'm happy that you're not afraid to put the players in there because they come from Portmore. Because too many times we try to not hurt feelings and try and put one for every team, and it doesn't go like that. But what is slowly happening here with these teams, you can start to see an alternative to the people who are playing for the national team. So, okay, so if you wanted a local based teams, we have this average team here, which you put up every week, which you could start to look and say, we have some other up and coming players in Jamaica that may be able to make the national team. So it's a really good thing that you are doing. Of course, you have some St. Lucian in there, so I suppose they couldn't play for our team. But no, I do have a lot of yes and no's with this team.
You
It's
know what
good.
I find? You know what I find so funny? I don't know if you find this to be the case as you watch football, that the people who play central defensive midfield are not, because a lot of people will ignore the role that Sigel Knight played for Portmore, like over this weekend. Played very well, and I think for the games that he has played well. But oftentimes that role is overlooked because you focus more on the creative midfielder, the goal scorers are the last line of defense. And so sometimes that person in the middle of the park, and I was looking back this week and said, that we have had some good central midfield play in this league. Not saying that they are world class yet, but we have had some good central defensive midfield play in the league, and we probably need to start paying more attention to that part of the field, because it is a position, even when you look at the national team, that we need to seriously look at having a good crop of player at a local level, developing on a particular pathway so they can fit at the international level.
Well, if
And
you know Seagull Knight chance, he was like an attacking player in his younger days, right?
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So
right, yeah, that is true.
but what is amazing is that because the game has evolved and everybody talk about the high press, Seagull Knight is the person that Portmore uses to evade that high press. So he steps right back in between both centre halves and he play makes from right there to get rid of the press so the team can come out smoothly. So his job is cannot be underestimated. People who know the game will understand what he's doing there. And I'm just amazed that, I've met him long time, probably don't remember. But I'm
Yeah,
amazed at the person who he is now. He's
okay.
just so calm in the middle of the park. He doesn't try to get all the glory. He just does his job day in, day out, and he's really a wonderful central midfield player that can only go from strength to strength.
And you know that he has taken the most shots like on target as midfielders from my count, because I
Oh,
count that. Yeah, because I mean he seemed to like to kick the ball a whole lot.
yeah, no. But remember, as I said before, he was an
Always an
attacker,
attacking player.
so he thinks he can do so.
Yeah. Mr. Dimension, remember that they could not have promoted a team from the West in this present format because it is just a truncated season.
No,
It
no,
is
no, 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 no. Look here. The teams that is in there were the teams that
that are in there, yeah.
were in there before. There were a team from the West that was in the qualifier for the Premier League the year before, which was Falkland and Wadada. They did not make the grade to come up to the Premier League. Who came up was Mullines and Veer. So it's not like anybody trying not to get team from the West in the league. They were just not good enough in that playoff for the seven. Going forward, I'm sure teams there is gearing up again to come back in the Premier League. So we can hope that there's some success and we'll have them in the next year or the following year after. But it's
You know,
remember it's sporting merit and we have to work with that.
yeah. And also, listen, people, we have to understand that everybody in football, from the administrative, coaching, playing level, spectator level, want Western teams in the Premier League. Why? Because it's a huge market and they have a huge football following. If you go traditionally, so I think, we have to balance the narrative. Don't make it look like we don't want. I want a local. Listen, you think I don't want? I want to see Reno in Premier League, and I'd love to see what I done see. But at the end of the day, if you can't qualify, it says something about football in the parish. If you can't qualify for the league, and you can't blame the league for not having you if you can't qualify for the league, because everybody has to go through a similar process. So people in the West need to look at what is happening there to see how they can make it better. You understand me?
Support their teams.
All right. Well, Topi, every week they ask about Topi. Now these people want to see Topi.
Yes, he will.
Yeah, here you go, people. Because all on the radio, everybody, this comparison is out there between Topi and Low as to where Topi would have been and what has happened. All right. So people hear it, and I am sure Sports Topi will be playing in the league this season. Looking forward to seeing him, because I believe that under 20 team that he played on, that went so close to qualifying for the last under 20 World Cup. I think we were knocked out by Mexico on goal difference.
Undefeated, and Topi was the second leading goal scorer in the tournament, from centre half. Yes.
So looking forward to seeing him. Believe he's a very good talent. I hope a couple of years of not playing football would not have affected him significantly in terms of getting back into the groove of things. All right. So let us give you the point standing. In at the top of the table we have Portmore. They have 12 points. They have 9 goals for, 2 against. So they, along with Waterhouse, have conceded the least amount of goals. And they have scored the most goals in the league so far. In second place, we have Very United. They have 11 points. They have not lost a game so far. 7 goals for, 3 against. In third, we have Harborview. They are on 8 points, and they are tied with Mount Pleasant. They have also scored 8 goals and conceded 5. Mount Pleasant, same amount of goals for and against, which is 4. Cavaliers are lingering in 5th place, but they have only played 4 games, and they have 7 points. So they have the opportunity of going up the table this week when they play. Waterhouse are in 6th position, and they have 6 points from 4 games. Then you have Dumby Holden, 6 points from 5 games. Tivoli have 5 points from 4 games. Arnett Gardens have 3 points from 4 games. Mullines have 2 points from 4 games. And the Humble Lions, after 5 games, 0 points. I don't know. I think there's going to be some problems down at Humble Lions. I don't know. I don't think this is going to continue. But that is... well, you know what? When Mr. Speed come, I'll let him answer this. Ming or King on the bench for Topi? Hard choice, Coach. I don't think he can answer that on this platform, but go ahead.
It's not a hard choice. All those players are quality players. All those players do enough every single day to play on the team. So remember, you try to put all your best players on the pitch at one time. And I'm really not married to a formation or a system. I can coach anyone. I can coach different systems, different stuff. Just to make sure that all our best players on the field. And remember again that Cavalier thing is complex. It's not necessarily to win all the games, although we're trying to win. But if these players have to play, they have to play. So no, there's no chance that King or Ming will be on the bench. No chance. As long as they train and do what they're supposed to do.
And who to tell maybe Topi can play a central defensive midfield? Maybe he can be.
Oh, he can. That's where he debuted for Cavalier at central midfield.
There you go. So maybe that's a place that he can play, seeing that that's a gap that needs to be filled with the national team. So maybe that's something that he could do. But I think Morrison is better than some of the players who Tapa selected for the World Cup. Let me say this. Morris, from the last time when he played to Jamaica to what he's doing now in the league, he has improved a whole lot. Let me say it again. And I think because of conditioning, because to be fair, the last game that he played for Jamaica, he never looked good. I think it was a USA game. But he was not in good condition because that was really, there were some problems with that trip. But I must say that I have been impressed with him. He's leading his team. He looks like a national player. You can identify that this guy is at a class above some of the other players in the league. So all he can do is continue to play well, and hopefully he will turn the eye of the coach, because that's one of the questions that I want to ask today is, who are some of the players, at least 5 players that you're really impressed with. And you can select Cavaliers player, Mr. Speed, so don't feel bad. You understand me? Because if I have a team and my player playing well, I'm going to call your name. And if people vex, then vex. But who are some of the players you have been really impressed with thus far? In the comment section as well, you can let me know. Who are some of the players you have been impressed, who have been very consistent over the first 5 games in the league?
No, well, I mean, I don't pretend that I know all the players because I couldn't. But clearly, Morris, as a captain, as a person who leads Portmore, he dictates the tempo. He's one. Seagull Knight, I think, also, play all the games, and he's another player. I don't think Dwayne Atkins has lived up to his potential, after the first game. So he's another player that you definitely have to look at. King is a good player. If you look at Gunby, then you're going to find that the captain is very sturdy around the back. He really plays a bad game. Harborview have Okesa Chung, Nicholas Nelson from Mullines, right?
From Dumby then?
No,
oh no, you're right. All right, no,
Mullines.
Not Nicola Christian, Mullines. Yeah, you're right.
Right. So there have been some players with flashes like that winger from Arnett Garden. So I mean, to me, there's enough players for us to harness the talent. And the truth be told, a lot of those young players is not going to be this year unless the team go to the second round. What you're going to really be seeing is these players using this truncated season to come next season and put a stamp on the game to say, listen, I'm a big player now. So I'm not looking for them to really, to do the business as much this season, but clearly next season, I can see the improvements will come.
Yeah. I think, let me tell you, I've been very impressed with the 2 of the St. Lucians, Doxley from your team and Mayers from Portmore. I think they, because sometimes a new player come from a new country in what is called a rough league, especially Doxley. I think he has looked very, very good. Mayers look like a good defender. So there are several players. I mean, I think the Howell, who plays central
for Waterhouse. Both of them, both brothers, is very good.
They have been playing well. Morrison has been playing well. Chung has been playing well, and Priestley, again, is somebody that I think. And again, this central defensive role, I think he has been this steady presence in the Harborview midfield. I like how he looks, and how he has been playing like King out there. I see some persons have some names here. Chang, Richie. I think most of us, right? Richie also look good, but I also think, like I said, a Johnny Talbot has not looked bad. So there are some players who are showing, they are showing up. We just hope that they can be consistent. There are some very good young players. I think I am seeing a good crop of under 20 players. When I look at young Jimenez from Harborview, good young player. The wing back for Waterhouse, Campbell, very good young player. I see this youngster who came on from Mount Pleasant. So there are some very Akwasa Chang, very good young under 20 players, 17, 16 years old in the league. I think that argues well for our youth program. And one of the things I'd love to see, let me know what you think, people, in the comment section, is that somebody needs to identify these youngsters now and find a way of putting them in some sort of program where they are being developed in a way that in a year for the next World Cup cycle, if you can find 6 of them properly groomed and prepared to fit into a national program. That is the kind of planning we need in the football. We need that in the football. Skill player, but they are not coached properly, consistently. I agree with that to some dimension that the coaching needs to improve. Yeah, Kong, Kong, Kong is a youngster from Arnett Garden, right? I think that is the name. And Brian English, really? I haven't seen much of Brian English. I haven't seen much of I haven't seen much of Brian English. I'm not sure if I've seen enough of him um, in the league. I also think the captain for Dumberholden, Shaquille Dyer, he has been playing well. It's kind of funny, that Jamaica seem to always produce good enough centre backs. If you go back to even the World Cup qualifying, and when we last got to the World Cup, we really didn't have to go and find centre backs because we had like Ian Goodison and Linval Dixon. I remember at some point even Christopher Dawes played in centre back. You had like a Nandelo who played around there. So I think if you go back to the Anthony Carbet and the Duran Tati Brown, if you go back, we have always produced good centre back, and I think we have had good centre back play throughout the league. If you look at Cavaliers, they have a good centre back. Waterhouse with Nikolai Finlayson and that other player there. Penny Cook from Tivoli also looks well. Steve Wright from Malines. So you have all of these. You have Solomon from out in Portmore. I mean, almost all the teams you could say have good centre backs. So I think that's an area that as a country, we normally always seem to find good centre backs throughout the league. Like almost every team, I could say, have one quality centre back in the league because it's a strong position. I think goalkeeping and centre back are the two strongest positions. The one area that I think we have struggled over the years is central midfield and forwards who score goals. Forward who score goals. Or someone saying Amal Knight level is above the league. Why is he? I don't listen. Here's the thing.
Well, it's his opinion. You can. It's his opinion. Him say Amal and English is above the league. I mean, they're quality players.
They're quality players, yeah. The bag juice and ice cream is more expensive than just having a proper water bottle for each player.
Which bag juice this man talking about? Yeah, I don't know how much you look fun, man.
Yeah, no.
The people do bag water because it's easier to handle. But every team in this Premier League get them supply of water hydration fluid. So they do have it. Come on.
I have water bottles, but all of
no, right. But the water bottle, the water bottle in a pandemic, unless it's personal, you can't use it. So I bet you give somebody a bag or a water bottle with water. So we give them the small water. So the person drink it off. And nobody not going to be swapping these things like first time, So remember when our pandemic, the water bottle thing where everybody used to share the same 6 water bottles gone. So people carry bags with water in it to give each person, so it get personal. Come on.
But the man judge.
And everybody get them allocation of water and radiation fluid every single match.
I feel like this. He's saying that English touches and movement is exceptional. I can't, like, how many games has English played in? Can't be more than 2.
No man, English playing every game that we play. He's play for Cavalier, playing every game that we play. The only thing that we didn't start him in the Arnett
game. Okay.
Right? In the Arnett game, but he normally plays.
The young centre back from Mount Pleasant. I think this was his first game. He played alongside Ladell Richie.
Yeah, young Christie. Yeah, I know him. Yeah, his first game.
You know him?
I know the young one. If you call a old player, I might not know him, but I know the young ones.
Yeah, he looked good first game. It's good to see Mount
My
Pleasant.
scouting network good. Just tell me a player name within minutes. I can tell you everything about him, including what he eat for breakfast.
Good to see them finally integrated. I don't see much set plays from each team. I'm saying that each player must have their personal water bottle instead of the ice bag thing. Listen, that yeah, what I'm saying is that remember the part of the sponsorship of the league is is bottled water sponsor. So
And
they want
hydration and
right,
rehydration.
right. So they want to advertise their product. Why would they want to promote their product and let you pour it out in a bottle that don't have their name on it? You have to understand the marketing. The marketing.
So
And
anything else you bring, it can't have any marking. So that's why some people use the bag with the
bag,
water,
yeah.
plain
So
water in the bag and just throw
yeah.
it because it's easier to deal with.
Yeah, man. So let's look at the games coming up. I mean, big game, the first one tomorrow. Humble Lion. Well, it's not a big. Well, it's not a big game still. Humble Lion versus. Well, it's a big game for Andrew Pryce. Humble Lion versus Waterhouse. You think Humble Lion will turn the tables finally and get their first victory of the season?
Well, one thing I know for sure is that they're not going to lose all the games. So, and that is why they are so dangerous now. So I am happy that Cavalier played them early. So people who have them to play know that somebody is going to drop points against Sunderland at one stage. Now, if what you say is true, well, definitely I know the captain coming back. The goalkeeper
Dennis
Taylor
Taylor, yes.
will be coming back most likely. And if your midfield general decide to come, I mean, they could form a partnership with Vanzi
Fancy,
and have
yeah.
a very good, midfield partnership right there, which would add some steel and some stability and some personality from that position. So, usually you don't believe that one or two players can make a difference, but they do. They can make a big difference. And as I said before, all the players should be fed up by now and saying, listen, we need to do something. We need to get a point. So it depends on the coach tactics. I think Waterhouse wasn't at their food best the last match. You know, this is a dangerous game for Waterhouse. It's one of the most dangerous games because they can't allow, they can't afford to lose points if they want to keep with the leaders. So this one is interesting, and I'm going to just sit out and say, let's go.
Okay. All right. Listen. This man right here. Listen. You know what? I need to invite you on the well. Let me get this comment first because this is about Humble Lion. Once by the time Humble Lion players lose weight to start performing, the league will finish. Listen, I need to get you on. I need to get you on the program so I can because sometimes people tell people about their weight, and then
And them have on with themselves.
come on, man. Somebody's asked. I think this is for you, Mr. Speed.
No, that's difficult. If I could get one player from any team in the league, who would that be? You know the Cavalier lineup. What it would be. Okay. I can't answer that question. I am up with the players that I have.
Yeah. All right. The next game, I think this is going to probably be the game of the round, is a Harborview versus Portmore United game. Harborview coming off a defeat in a close game. Portmore coming off a very good, dominant performance. Yeah. Um, what? And you can't be a defense. You can't be a defense on all the games.
No, I'm not defending. Let me just say this. More, performance was against a team that everybody else beat, right? So, I mean, you have to be worried about performances when you talk about the opposition. You beat good opposition with good performance. That's a different thing. What is good about Pokemon is that in 2 matches they have had over 60% of possession, which is no easy feat. That's brilliant. Arborview, on the other hand, has a lot of young, exciting players who Ludlow Bernard is going to attack you. He's not going to sit back and not try to win the game. He's not going to do a dookie and say, I don't come to. He's going to come to try and win the game.
Yeah.
Portmore, though, if you notice, they have quality in every department and they have experience in the quality. So to me, I'm not based on the farm book, based on what has transpired, I have to give Portmore the edge here and think that they will come away with the win. Now, if they don't come away with the win, then it means that they would have dominated some teams that on the day couldn't stand up to them, but then they are not as good as we thought they were. But if they just play as good as we thought they were, I expect them to win this one. And Harborview, is in a slightly rut. We'll go into a slightly rut, and it remains to be seen how the coach will bring back Harborview to the front.
All right. So let me give you my thoughts. All right. So I think Portmore is actually playing the best, but I think the Harborview matchup with them is better than the matchup in the last game in terms of physical conditioning and being able to track players. And I think also Harborview possesses more threat going forward, which is going to be, I think, a little bit more challenging for the Portmore team. I think Harborview, if they can find a way to stop, they have two midfielder, Rose, and there's a next guy.
Rose and Siegel Knight play the two in front of the defense,
Right.
and then Christopher Morris play at the top. It's a 4-3-3 them employing.
All right, they have a next player. His name starts with D. Demar Phillips.
Demaro Phillips. He plays on
Phillips.
flank. Yeah.
Right. If I think they're gonna have to pay some attention because I think he interchanges in terms of the flank and he creates a lot of challenges. And I think if Harborview can find a way of nullifying his effect and Ricardo Morris' effect, because what I noticed with them is sometimes when Ricardo Morris goes to one of the flanks, then Demaro Phillips comes in and he takes up the position that Ricardo Morris goes from, right? So if Harborview can find a way to kind of limit their effects on the game, I think they could win. But I see this game ending 1-1.
But you remember, you agree, you're just calling too many names from Portmore. So it's
that is true. That's true. Yes, they have too many.
Too many problems. And you still didn't call some. You didn't call the St. Lucian up front.
Yeah, well, that is true.
The goal that he scored, a well-taken goal. Not in the Umberland match in the game before. So I am saying that if they play true to form, if what happened and the match is 1-1, then that means that Portmore wouldn't have been so far ahead of the rest of the team, as we are saying now, which would be good.
You know what is one of the other things? I think part of what I think this Christo J didn't start in the last game. For some reason, if there is a way, because I almost feel like Harborview struggles between Luca Levy and Christo J Daly. Like I think that is the problem, that is the dilemma. For some reason, if they start Christo J Daly, they can't start Luca Levy. And they offer two different things. And I think that is going to be like their issue is team selection.
Yeah, well, one of the better, Luca Levy is more of a number 8. Christo J Daly is more of a number 10. They're actually two different players, but in a league like this where athleticism is important, they could run into some problems with both of them on the pitch at the same time. But I've seen both of them play together and they have done well. They are really good ball handling players. So it depends on the style of play that Harborview comes out to play. Then both could play. But you're correct about the assumption that it could be a difficult proposition to have both on the field at the same time.
Yeah. So if you're talking about Dino Williams, you remember you put up a comment before. Let me tell you this: if Mount Pleasant were to wait on Dino Williams to lose weight to start playing football again, next year he won't be able to play. So just do that. See, ID one player that is way above the others. Like what I don't really see is one outstanding player that is way above the other, like in our days. But listen. At the end of the day, there are many. The good thing is that there's no one player. I think, let me say, number one, the good thing is that there's no one player, but there's a group of players that are standing out in the league. Older players, and then there's a group of young players. I think the better the pool of players, you don't have to have a league where only one player is a cut above the rest. You want 7, 8, 9 players at a certain age that is above the rest. And then you have at the junior level, the under 20, you have like a 7. You want a good pool. And so I think what we're finding, because coaching has improved, that there are more better players in the league. See, one more person from Portmore here, Shandy James. They really have a lot of footballers out there now.
Right. So on that point about good players, one of the things that is in this league, the truth is maybe you should pick two teams. 'Cause you could pick a team, under 20 team,
Yeah.
and you'll have a lot of players to choose from. This is a first in our league. You could say you're picking an under 20 team. You could pick an under 19 team. You'll get enough players. Maybe even under 18, you could get a team put together from out of this Premier League. And that is the beauty and the strength of the Premier League now, which I will swap any day instead of having one outstanding player that is better than everybody. I'm ready to swap all of these for that player.
Exactly. Next game, Dumby Holland versus Veer. Both teams scored 3 goals in the last game. Figure that all the goals were done last week, so this is a 0-0.
Possible. I must tell you, it is very possible. 0-0, 1-0. These teams won't have it so easy against each other because predominantly these are two defensive teams, Dice and Dyer. Is two very experienced centre half, and they tend to play deep. It's a bit difficult to get behind them. So I'm thinking, and they have an experienced goalkeeper in the goal too. So I'm thinking it's gonna be difficult for Veer to break them down, especially if Veer doesn't come out attacking. Now Veer has a problem because their captain went off, with an injury. I know the coach was saying something like him done for the season, but that don't must be the case. Usually these old veteran type players,
they find a way to come back.
Yeah, and their injury sometimes is even though they might have to come off, it's not like it's keep them out of the season. These are players who have played for like 10 seasons and play very much. Them tough, them understand the game, them know what to do. They are disciplined enough to treat the injury. So let's hope he comes back. I have a feeling that he will. But if he doesn't, the guy that came on did have a fairly decent job. Now, if he doesn't come back, because he's not just a defender, he's also the leader of the outfit.
Yes.
I think that might be the undoing for Veer. And even with Dookie well thought out defensive plan, it could become a problem because of quality. And Dundee should have their eyes open. Coming off a big victory where they were very good. Again, I am thinking that there will be a goal apiece here in this game.
Yeah. But you know what, too? Because remember, they came into that game with 2 players out because of injury. And remember, the goal scorer came off in this game with injury. Ricardo Dennis also came off with injury. So depending on what happened, they could actually be losing some players. And I don't think I think they don't have the deepest of squads in the game. But somebody just asked us, do you believe they said it seemed that they feel injured a lot of players? Do you think the turf has anything, or just a short preparation time? What you think probably could be the reason for some of these injuries? Or is it the age?
It's a fact that people believe, let me not say it's a fact, believe that this type of surface is harder on the players. So and they believe some older players kind of really refuse to play on these surfaces too because it's difficult.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say it injured a lot of players. Some players have gotten injured, and even when we're playing on grass, it's the same thing. Preparation would have been short, so it's something that we expected, and that is the reason why we have 5 changes in a game, so coaches skillfully can keep their players fresh as possible. And also from this week on, there's going to be 20 players on the match card, so you'll be able to have a wider array of players to choose from when you're playing the game. So all that should help with the injuries, but it's something that we can't avoid at this particular point of time due to the field one and also the short operation period.
Let me ask you a follow-up question on that. Since, like a Veer, because it's a truncated season to some extent, they have an injury, and if it is proven that the player is going to be out and they don't have a deep enough squad, I don't know what the initial registration was. Is it a case where if there's an unattached player, that there's a window where that player could be registered and play, or the window for that has also closed because
So
I know that.
first, the rules are is FIFA rules. It can't be an amateur player. You can't change club during the season if he's an amateur player. You only can do it if he's a professional player and under certain circumstances. So one
Circumstances.
of the
Okay.
circumstances is that if you were out of contract before the January transfer window closed, then you could come in and play.
Okay. Okay.
And that is
Because
one of the reasons why I mean
like a
us and
Javan Watson could, that's why like a Javan Watson possibly
if
could
he
play
got fired or lost his contract before January transfer, yes,
January.
he could come in and
Okay.
play.
Okay.
And that is the same rule I suppose we use for some
With
of the players
Tope.
from St. Lucia. No, Tope
Oh.
was, you know, Tope was transferred back in January transfer window. So that's somebody
Okay.
to
Oh,
get
like
some
the
of those
players in.
foreign players.
Oh, okay. So like they could look. So like they could look to the Caribbean then.
Yeah, because a lot of the players who used to play professional in the Caribbean, their contract were exterminated from the virus scheme, so they
Ah.
could look.
Okay. That's a good start. I don't know how many persons knew that. Um. Somebody asking why is the St. George's coach in the national program and why not?
With
Uh,
St. George's coach.
I
You mean
don't know if
Bertis
he's.
Bell?
I don't think Bertis
Bertis
Bell
Bell?
want to coach. Yeah, I'm not sure if
Yeah.
he's talking, but you have to be clear if it's Bertis Bell or is it what's his name at Waterhouse because isn't he also part of the yeah. Listen, we have to tell Marlon. Trust me. I mean, Portmore is a well oiled machine. Um, you know, yeah. But will the JFF have a local camp before World Cup qualifying start in September to
Don't
come?
know.
We don't know it. Yeah. Do you ever see the league becoming a fully professional league where there is salary cap for players and that football can be professional? I think can be a profession
Well,
in
the
Jamaica.
league is a professional league. It's not. It's a professional league. What the drawback is that the league allow 5 amateur to play per team. And that is the only drawback for it to be
All right,
our
we can explain to them because some people may not understand what you mean by amateur.
right. So the league allow players, five in per team. Amateur players mean that they don't have a professional contract with the club that they play for, and this is allowed for players 19 years and under. So it is really for young players, not old players. So that by itself to make it not fully professional. Um, there is no salary cap for players, and why would we want a salary cap when in England you can't earn any amount of money? So if you want it to become a professional league, then you don't want to introduce salary cap. In my mind, you could have a different reason because you want the forces of supply and demand, market forces reign, and that's what happening for the professional league.
Yeah, I don't like the salary cap idea. I think the salary cap idea is in markets where there is um you can just move somebody. There is enough rules in football in terms of transfer windows where you can't just go and give a man X amount of money and move him. So I don't think a salary cap is necessary because people are still bound by the transfer rules and regulation when the market is open, how long a contract is for, and all of that. So I don't see the necessity for such a thing. All right, but the next game is the big game Cavaliers versus Tivoli.
Yes, Tivoli,
Yeah.
I think, has only faced a defeat once in the season, and I think it was at the hands of Portmore,
Yes. Yeah.
right? The best team. So nobody can tell how really good Tivoli is. What I know is that over the last year, I mean, we used to own them 2 years ago, but over the last year, Cavalier has not been able to defeat Tivoli Garden. They have won two, and we were able to draw one. And so it is since this new coach, which I told people is very astute and is better than a lot of people think. So Williams, we haven't been able to beat them. So, but you know the old cliche as the longer you don't beat somebody, is more likely that you're closer to get beating them, right?
Yes.
so, um, so we know what Tivoli has to offer. They are an aggressive team. They attack. Their style is a little bit awkward for us, and when we do a review, we saw that. But Cavaliers are different proposition this year. Um, we have quality young players. We in the Ireland game we introduced the trio that will take over from the first trio, which is they call themselves Watt, which is Webster, Atkinson, and Thomas. So
Ah,
if they use, we used to have MHM, so now is what. So we introduced those three. Those boys will be hunting, and we need the points. So if you ask what's going to be the win, what's going to happen, I don't know, but I'm going to back Cavalier for this one all the way.
so you're not staying on the fence. You're not.
No.
One of the things I noticed Tivoli has done is that they have given, I think, Wellington, who I think is one of their better midfielders, some time, because at the start of the season he was on the bench. And then recently, he has been starting like in the last game, very influential in the midfield. And Jermaine Johnson has gone on the bench, which I think in terms of energy, and that's something I know you probably have seen and you're looking at in terms of how.
Well,
But also,
German didn't play the last game any at all.
right.
Come on, yes.
Yeah, right. But so I think and well, the goalkeeper is supposed to be returning because I think he was red carded. Watson was red carded, and so he missed a game, so he should be back. But I think that backline is also very good. Barrington Pryce seem to be coming into some level of fitness, and Penny Cook has been playing well. So, but I think they're a little slow. I think they're a little slow, and that could probably wear Cavaliers. I think it's going to be a 2-1 game. I think Cavaliers is going to win, but for some reason I feel like Tivoli always has this way of fighting back before they lose. Like if you have them down 2, they're going to try and score 1. If it's going to go 1-1 and then you go 2-1, but they're not just going to lose like that. There's a thing about them. It's one of the teams that I always think play not just for themselves, but for the community in a sense. And I think that builds a fighting spirit. So I do believe that Cavaliers will win this by 2 goals to 1. People, I would love to hear your prediction, because I can't be the only person getting them wrong, So maybe you need to start get some wrong too as well. And then the final game. Go ahead.
Well, I agree with you. I agree with you with Tivoli, as I said before. That's a team that fights with them. They give every single team problems. So if a team is at the top of the league and Tivoli is at the bottom, if you come to that game believing that you must win, you're making a big mistake. Big mistake.
Yeah. Somebody said, but we have to apply it in a Jamaican perspective. If you can say a professional player will make no less than X amount per month, which will allow them. So it is not a salary, because salary cap sometimes normally speak to the high end of the salary. What you need to say is probably need to have a minimum salary structure.
There is a minimum for professional. You can't get less than minimum wage. The JFF will throw away the contract. If you come with a contract that is less than the minimum wage, the JFF not accept.
So So I think that is we understand that. Mr. Speid, are they still planning on extending the teams next season to 14 teams?
That was the intention from before the season start. I don't know if it's the same intention, because as you know, there's still no football being played at a lower level. So you have whatever issues there with who should it be, etc. Are they up to standard in terms of the criteria? Are they paying for that spot because you just walk in, you didn't get it by sporting merit? So all of those things we have to go through, and then the JFF board will decide. So at this particular point, nobody knows.
Right, and if they were going to add 2 teams, I think the whole UE dynamics now kind of affects, depending on what UE decides to do next year. Because if UE decides,
no.
Oh.
The rules, UE don't have any choice in the matter.
Okay. I thought. Okay. So that would be seeking to somehow add 3 teams to make it 14 or keep it at 12.
If it's 14, it's 3, right? And if it's 12, it's
right.
1.
It's 1. Okay. All right. Very good question, Marlon. Control Tivoli left side and Teddy Johnston, and you will win all games like in our days. What? Mr. Dimension, what days you're talking about? You need to tell me what days. You need to tell me what days you're talking. You need to tell me what days you're talking about. What, you used to play in the league as well? Somebody said down here, that it is true. Over the years, Tivoli always have like good players out left, Ricardo Fuller used to love playing on the left. Jermaine Johnson loved playing on the left. Rajic Reed used to love playing on the left. I think Rajic Reed's son, Trayvon Reed, a couple of seasons. Um,
No, them have on the left now. Them have
from
Garrison.
Garrison, who was at he was at Cavaliers at one point, right?
No.
Oh, Huey.
Huey.
Yes, yes, yes. All right. All right. Wouldn't that work also semi-professional in terms of players having to work two jobs and still maintain their standard as a pro player? But I
Yeah.
think, oh,
I was going to say to him that the teams that win the league mostly in Jamaica, um, Arnett Garden, I think 5, Portmore 6, Abbeville 5. They have over the years just pushed out the players who work and play. So you can kind of understand where you want to go if you want to win the league. That work and play thing just don't work for professional players. You really have to focus, dedicate yourself to the job at hand if you want to leave the shores of Jamaica. Sure, if you just want to play in Jamaica and start the Premier League, that's possible. But if you want to move out when get into the national teams, that work and play thing just won't work.
yep. I always tell people that, like, I realized that I couldn't work and play football or even go to school and play football. So I decided that which one going to give me the most money, and I made my choice. I'm not saying that you should, but when I measure both, it never looked like football going to give me the kind of money. So I made a choice based on that. But for you, maybe different. Somebody saying that Webster is getting better and better. That is Webster to your team. I think he was on the team of the week last week as well. Oh, Mr. Dimension says he used to play in the 70s, man. And I suspect 80s, there you go, and 80s. Okay, so which team you used to play for? Tell us that.
See we'll find out.
You're gonna find out. I don't think teams like Huey, JDF, and Police should be allowed to play in a professional league. Listen, I always agree with that. I don't see. I think if Police are going to play, they need to have a public sector league.
Civil servant
League. There you go. And you will play in intercal. Police and JDF play with the doctors and the nurses and the teachers. That is the league for them, not our Premier League. Same thing with the police. They should not be allowed. Well, the police, the soldier, and school should not be allowed to participate in CASAFA or Western Conference or in any professional league. They should play in. What are your thoughts? That's my thoughts still. I don't have to agree, but that is my thoughts.
A lot of the purists frown on, law enforcement playing in their leagues. I mean, if you look in China and those places, there are a lot of those teams, from law enforcement, different teams that play in their leagues. So
really,
the Premier League before the Premier League, they used to have a lot of those teams, law enforcement playing.
Okay.
Law enforcement by itself bring a different dynamics to the game because the referees understand that it's law enforcement, players understand that it's law enforcement, and in my days
you can't red card the doctor, you can't red card the police,
the superintendent, and in my days law enforcement, when I used to play, there was occasion where law enforcement said, hey, you careful how you tackle me, come here, come here yard later, I'm going to raid your place later. I said, well, you can't raid my place still, but it was a real problem. So a lot of purists frowning on law enforcement playing in the league. Not against law enforcement, we love them, but you understand. So, and schools, they don't have the same ruthlessness in recruiting, development that some of the other clubs think it is unfair for them to be able to enjoy themselves at the Premier League level and don't carry the baggage of the under 15, the under 13, the under 11, the under 17, the under 20. So very good all-round arguments for them not to play professionally.
Okay, all right. I think having more Caribbean players will improve the league. I agree. I see now. So Portmore has 2, Cavaliers have 1.
Mount Pleasant
has. I know they have Akeem Clark and Kevin Lane, both Guyanese. The centre back and goalkeeper, and over the years they have had others. I think this is probably something that other teams need to look at. look at the Caribbean and see, because I think what it does, it helps with the marketing of the league. It spreads the league in the Caribbean. Imagine, I suspect more people in St. Lucia probably watching the Premier League, because these guys actually play. They are not just like players who play in St. Lucia, but they actually play for the national team, right? So I think it would be a good tool for marketing. Alex?
Well, it's a good thing if we could add Trinidadians, Barbadians.
Yeah.
We're not saying that they should come and take over our league, because we do have a rule that says how much of these CARICOM players can play in each team, which is 6. So,
Okay.
CARICOM players, you go anywhere in CARICOM and work, we think it should be the same for football, and to make it one brand league. That helps. Yeah.
All right. All right. Alex, let me just say this. Alex, I'm not skipping over your question. Is it because the questions are directed on the national team selection per se? I want to deal with the JPL first, and then in the general question section, I will ask them. I'm not skipping over your question, sir.
So, but the last game, you were at the last game now, so.
Yeah, the last game is Arnett Gardens versus Mullines.
Well, I mean, if my memory serves me correct, that would be the team that is 10th and 9th in the league, in the tables.
Yes.
Right. So Mullines hasn't gotten a win since the start of the league. Arnett Garden has gotten 1 win. Both teams in this case will be eyeing up each other and say, well, I should be able to take the win here. So both teams also has conceded some goals, so it tells you that they are very attack-minded. So at this particular time, this is going to be the shootout. This is going to be the shootout game. It's by itself on Monday. This is going to be the shootout game.
Yeah.
Both teams have quality players, but I think Nicholas Nelson as a forward is the best forward on both teams. And I think it's gonna be hard to keep him off the scoring sheet. But I think Arnett Garden will skill, team younger. They're going to attack, they're going to be running at the Mullines defense. I am seeing this one as a high scoring draw, 2-2, 3-2, 3-3, or 3-2. I'm seeing like 5 goals in this one, 4 or 5 goals in this one, not less.
I think Arnett going with this 4-2. I think a lot of goals going to score, because listen, one of the things I like about Arnett is that they have this way of playing over the years of just using speed from the Byron Earl and Christopher Dias. They just using speed and run fast. I mean, they always have these very fast offensive players like Stephen Clark, the Deacon guy, the Cephas guy, and I think they're going to score. Like, the truth is, the last game they played against Mount Pleasant, if they were more clinical, and the coach said that at the end of the game, that they just need to start finishing up their chances. Yes, I am seeing a 4-2. I think there are a lot of goals going to be scored, so I'm going 4-2. Listen, in the comment section, let me know what are your predictions.
Anyway, Mr. Dimension, look here. I must tell you that I went back and watched some of the games that used to play a long time. You guys are slow.
Oh, you actually know him?
No. I know the games. I watch the games on tape, and I see they slow, unfit. No. It's not true. These guys fitter than Europe here, guys, by far now. Unless you're looking at some teams. Well, look at the good teams, they're much fitter. I mean, people can train better. They know how to get people fit. Their fitness is a science now in Jamaica.
These guys are going to tell you what you're talking about. You're talking about Michael Graham and Donald Hewitt and Calvin Valentine. You're talking about.
But I watch the games, I went back and watched all these games this game that Arnett Garden versus Waterhouse, that 3-2 game that Boris Johnson scored 3 and Walter Boyd scored 2.
Yeah.
Pedestrian pace, slow. I watch it on YouTube and I go back and watch them pedestrian pace. Not these guys would run rings around those players. Most of the teams this now would beat those teams easily, very easily. The good teams. No, it's not true.
All right, Alex, I'm coming to your question. All right, so Tivoli and Arnett fan used to threaten me, but when them come west, we threaten them to beat them with care.
Sound like it's arena man from the King.
Yeah. It's so like it's about to play for arena.
The Froome.
Yeah. But I mean, Reno are the only back-to-back champions of the Premier League, I believe. I think they are the only team to have done that. Yeah, team that I support a whole lot, you know.
Arena is not the only team Portmore has done.
Really? You sure?
Yeah, just the other day, not even long time ago.
Okay. A professional league in the Caribbean would be good. I've always heard people say it's very expensive. I always tell people, listen, what I think we need to understand is in Europe, traveling Europe is cheaper than traveling the Caribbean. So imagine like Cavaliers have to go and play a game in Guyana.
No, but sorry, man, let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
What the person is saying that it would be good, it's true. Well, let me explain how a professional league could work in the Caribbean. Because we have been through it and people brainstorm it. What you just say is also true. But if you had a hub where the Jamaican Premier League team play against themselves, Trinidad play against themselves, Haiti play against themselves, Dominican Republican play against themselves, and they could add one team from nearby to play in their league, then the top teams out of that league would go somewhere like a 8 team, two from each area, and finish the Caribbean League. So it could be run. We talk about it. It could happen like that.
Okay. All right. So all right. I hear that idea, but when I think about a league, I'm thinking about like the top team from say Jamaica gets 3 slots, almost like the Champions League.
Right. But it will be the same, except you get two, and then all 8 teams go to one country and host it, and you finish the league like that. So
Okay.
it is
Okay. You say play it in one place.
first
Play like a
in
tournament.
hubs. In
Oh,
hubs.
in a hub. Okay.
So if came another team that wanted to come here, they could probably join our hub. So wherever you have the hubs, teams could join from close by, and then you go in a 8 team playoff for the finals. And you could even go into 2 countries, groups of 4. It could work like that. Then you meet somewhere and finish up.
Okay.
It's something that is being considered. That format that I just tell them, and it'll be much cheaper.
Boy, I think it's going to be a lot of money. I mean, we have to get good sponsors. I think it's something that could work, you know.
Television.
Television. There you go.
There have to be a television product.
Yeah. All right. So let me come to Alex. Alex said, Speed look at player that play in the championship named Tasha Oakley Booty. I think that's the name. All right.
About some national team thing. He's talking about
national
team. Let me just deal with that. People, don't believe everything you're hearing. Picking the national team is the prerogative of a national team coach only. I will never look at a player and tell the coach they must pick anybody. It's the prerogative of a national team coach and the technical staff, not technical people like me who give advice. We only give advice and propose things. Yeah. So send that to the national team coach.
Yeah. And then he's asking, anybody would agree the team need to improve, man. The team need to improve in several areas. I mean, I don't know what that. I mean,
goes without saying.
Center, we need right back, left back improvement, midfield improvement, center forward improvement, lot of improvement.
But even if we had all the perfect players, you still want team to improve.
Yeah. So I think a lot of improvement needed in a team. Oh, true. Jamalco. It's Jamalco, yeah. Jamalco under Donovan Duque looks real good. They're playing some good football. If there is a Caribbean Pro League, airline companies and hotels would need to sponsor it. Yeah, but that's what I'm thinking. But based on what Mr. Speed just suggested, he's saying that if you could play it in one,
create hubs.
Like in hubs, like maybe create a couple of zones. Like you have Eastern, or you could put the Eastern Caribbean champions.
Yeah.
In one, yeah, you understand me, in one, and then look at what Caribbean nation Jamaica close to, they come to Jamaica and play that, like you say, and then
Jamaica play by itself because we're strong. But I'm saying if you put them in hubs, that's the only way it could work because of the cost. Yeah. Because remember they tried before and it never worked. Because we couldn't be traveling back and forth to play one match. It's just too expensive.
That is the thing, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it have to work in hubs.
No,
So
this
yeah,
is
yeah,
arena
talk.
man, you know. No, this is arena man, you know. No,
Yeah,
this is
man, me
arena
know.
man.
Well, say, first of all, me just tell you that Donzel is my boy. Well, no, Donzel is my general, not my boy. It's my general. Donzel are my general. That's the man that carried 3 teams to the World Cup. The man is a legend, and I know him as a great player. But funny enough, you have some players who are deal with him still now, So worry about it still.
You say, boy, yes. Man said, none of them man could stop boy. I don't know. Listen, I used to watch football, but the truth is, I will say this: the surfaces, the quality of the players. I think the quality of the players and a lot of people, and I like my Reno days and what other Carlton, Alexander, Stennett, Sams, all of these guys, Rodney Barham. You have people like Noah Dredd, all of these people, the Foster brothers at Valley Kickers. I mean, I remember when players like Ainsworth Carr and Socrates Christie leaving out of Rossies and same Talbot, Loxley leaving out of Rossies and all of these players. Hagler coming across when yeah, but at the end of the day, I think the football is better now than then still. Personally, I think the
Yeah, one of
quality.
the thing was that how the team set up in those days. It set up for 1 or 2 person excel. Everybody else does the certain things, and 1 or 2 players was a midfield and a forward, probably the one who drive a team. Teams are set up so much different now, and the coaches are so much better. So even when my coach Dunzel, player Dunzel, we used to get by players. Now them put him in the corridor, him can't get out. So them know what to do to counteract these outstanding players. So yeah, it was good, but that was then. Trust me, now the players are better.
Yeah. I think yeah, with the national team. Listen, here's the thing with the national team. Let me just help you. All right. I will say this with the national team. Listen. Um until until you know the full pool, like we have to just watch and see. All right. You have to judge a coach based on the results. Um and you can't listen to everybody because not everything that is said is truth. And I think sometimes we hear things and we're guided and we don't seek to find out if it is so. All I know is that if a man have a passport, then somebody must be responsible. And if that don't happen and he's not playing, then what we're going to do? But at the end of the day, when you check the results, then you have to assess the coach and make decisions based on that. Is all I'm saying. But not because somebody come and say, boy, a Mr. Speed pick the team or this person's pick the team. That don't mean it is true, you know.
So let me just say it again. It is not true. I don't pick anybody, and I don't want to pick anybody.
Yeah.
Okay?
But
So all who's saying that is not true.
I said on my thing today, you can watch it that. If I had the power to pick the team and I run a team, you think to me, honestly, I'm not going to pick a team with none of my players. If
Exactly.
let me say this, if I were Rudolph Speid, if me and Rudolph Speid and I had the power to influence who plays in the national team, Karim Pryce would have to be in it. And Alex Marshall would
Yeah.
have to be in the team.
Like Marshall not even in the
The,
60.
the
Anyway,
fact, yeah. So just look at those things. All right. So our teams
I,
look fitter even in warm up than these players after they finish a game. Mr. Dimension.
but you must look fitter in a warm up because you're complaining a warm up when the man play 90.
But you know what is funny? Even how people warm up now has changed, you know. Back in
Yes.
the back in the days, right? Back in the days, warm up and now warm up is a totally different system.
So one key thing is that people used to warm up the whole 18 players or 25 players. Nowadays, I just see 10 players who are going to start and the 2 goalkeepers you see are warm, the rest of them they to one side or do something different. Plus, there's no static warm up. People are the dynamic warm, everything different. I mean, for different muscle, different periods, depending on what the coach going to do in the game. If him go high press, him warm up like a more high tempo. If him going knock, him warm up a whole heap of knocking. Come on, football has just changed. I mean, immensely nowadays. From what
All right, and let me give you a good example. A lot of teams now do a lot of weight work. They've got the kind of physical preparation is way better than back in the days. Back in the days, what people used to do primarily is jog around the field, laps around the field, or you do a lot of sands, or you run uphill. That was primarily it, with all of the different, stuff to put on your legs and jump, just all of the different dynamics of preparing players now mean that in terms of physical condition, players are better prepared now. All right.
Plus, we didn't know about loading, where you go high this today and tomorrow you go low the next day. I used to see coaches, play a game and lose, and the next day appear running. Ridiculous, crazy. That was used to happen in the back days. Now people come and say next day's recovery, not if you load again. So it's much different from first time. You have seen teams that play good in training and they come on the field and start to walk because of loading issues. So look here, Mr. Dimension, we're not taking nothing from your
Back in the days. Yeah.
our time. From our time, I'm back in the days too. What may I tell you, say my best footballer the world has ever seen still Pele for me, and him playing back in the days. It's not these young people. So nothing may I take anything, but it was different, man. It is different, and we have to move on.
Yeah, there you go. But because good ballers back in the days, and I believe where dimension, where we can agree is that I believe if some of the same coaching, the same physical preparedness, medical expertise were available, the same surfaces were available back then, because I think we had very good talent back then, but we never had the comprehensive football structure to kind of make them better. That's where we agree on. All right, let me just take a couple more, and then let me just leave this. This is Alex again. Alex, all right. I think I was on when Mr. Speid was speaking about this quota, and they were speaking about the junior teams. I don't know if this is what you're referring to, but with the junior teams, there was a mention of quota, and that was for the purpose of developing players. So I don't know if you're speaking about that or you're speaking in terms of, but
there's no, let me just address it, management. There's no quota in the senior national team, neither male or female. No quota. There's no quota issue in there, none at all as we speak, right? So the rest, the quota is really for the junior teams, and you can understand why it's expensive for we to carry people from overseas to come and play junior football, which we earn $0 from. Also, for us to have a viable local product, you are judged by the type of Premier League. Every MA is judged by the type of Premier League, top league that they play in your country. So we need to improve players to play in that league, right? So that is why there's a quota system for that, because we have to develop our local talent. Plus, you have to remember sponsorship. Who's going to sponsor these teams when there's no local players in there going away? You can carry a team full of people overseas and ask local people to sponsor it. So there's a whole lot of dynamics when it comes to the youth teams, and that is why we have the quota system. But there's no quota system for the senior national team, neither male or female.
This is a very good thought, but let me just and you can add when I'm finished. Because I think the JFF presently I think that is where Mr. Andre Peart was appointed as the head of the school, because he should be qualified to administrate the A license. I'm not sure about the pro license.
No, there's nobody in Jamaica. Listen, having a coaching qualification doesn't mean you can teach it, right?
Okay.
So people who have an A license or a pro license don't mean they can teach either of those things. But here's the requisite. Here what is the general rule. If you're teaching a license, you should be one license up. So you're right. They are pro license coaches. They should be able to teach A license. But even with that, you have to get training from coaching educators. So that's just like when you have professors who teach people to become professors. They are still professors, but they have training to train. So unless these people get the training, they can't administer it.
Okay, so having the license does not mean that you're licensed to administrate.
Then you can train, right? You can administrate,
you can coach, but that doesn't mean you can be a coach of coaches.
Correct. It's like a teacher. You need a teacher to teach. That me pass accounts. That don't mean me gonna teach it. You need a
Okay.
teacher who can teach a subject.
Okay, but so what about because recently I had a coach maybe somewhere in the chat, and he was saying that he has I think level 2, and level 2 qualifies you presently to coach like the Costa Cup, Manning Cup, right? And but in the Premier League there is going to be some requirement now in the JPL for you to have an A license. Or can a person with level 2 still coach in the local Premier League?
No, for a time until we
Okay.
believe that we would have educated enough coaches.
Okay.
We're going to put up the level to the B license first, because the level 2 is equivalent to a C license. So we're going to put that criteria up to the B license in a couple of years. And as soon as we get enough coaches, say we have 50 A license coaches, then we're going to say, well, it's pure A license
Everybody
coaching.
for the Premier League.
Yeah, but for now, is advanced level 2 is good enough. What we have 20 B license coach, we're trying to add to that. Once we add to that, then if say we have 60, then we could at that stage we could say, well, everybody needs to have a B license, and we're going to make the progression. So that is why Mr. Peart gets that job, is because of that progression that we expect to make over the next 5 years. So by
Okay.
the 5th year, we should have a lot of pro license coaches in Jamaica.
And that does not apply. That does not apply to you because no, how coaching is, the dynamics of coaching is that you have a goalkeeper coach, you have an assistant coach.
No, the head coach apply to the head coach.
So the head coach presently can still operate in the JPL with a level 2, but which is equivalent to a C license. The objective is to raise that to B.
Then
so you
A.
have to have a B, then to A. But there are presently some A license coaches already operating in the league.
A license and
Okay.
and pro license.
And a pro license.
And B license coaches. A lot of B license coaches in the league.
All right. So are there any coaches? Can somebody be coaching in the league and not have at least a level 2?
No.
Is that allowed?
No.
Okay, because they were telling me that somebody was coaching that does not have.
It happened already. The person asked for temporary that status temporary, and it was granted. But generally, no. Not I don't see that happening going forward again either. We're serious about the coaching education now.
Okay. All right. So are all of the JPL? I think this is asking. Are all the JPL teams?
All
No,
does
that's
not.
not you.
If you want, me can tell you. Based on my memory, Portmore has
B license. This is B license. Or
yeah,
A license. Yeah.
B.
B.
Portmore has. If we go down the table, Veer. Just go down the table for me. Veer. Him have a A license and him have a B. Him have a B and him have a CONCACAF B and a USA A. Who is third in the league?
How about you?
No.
Ludlow Bernard.
No, he doesn't.
But they have on their staff. They have I think.
Level 2. Yeah, them have level 2.
But and the staff, Ferguson isn't a part of the coaching staff.
I don't know. I've never seen him on the bench, but
Okay.
I don't think he hasn't gotten his B license yet.
Okay. Then you have in fourth position you have Mount Pleasant is.
Well, they have an A license coach
And a pro license coach.
Pro license coach, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Then you have Cavaliers.
Yeah, B license coach. 6.
All right. Don't be Holden, who is Harold Thomas.
No.
All right. 7th is Arnett Gardens.
Waterhouse.
Oh yeah, we missed Waterhouse.
Yes. B license, yes.
Arnett Gardens.
Them have 2 B license coach.
Mullines.
No.
Humble Lion.
No.
Okay. Andrew Pryce, is that Humble Lion? I don't want to get into, but he's a part of the national setup. Well, let me say it. He has coached at the national level. Let me put it that way.
Right. But the trust, as I said before, is to make that transition upwards. So the JFF is very serious about it, and we're working on it.
Okay. All right. So, and he's asking, when will the next B license course be administered?
There should be one this year, later in the year, but we're not sure because we should have had one last year, April. We had lined up another one, but the COVID came, it didn't, and we just not able to put it back together. So
Okay.
as soon as one is able to be done, we'll do it. We'll do it.
And what if there's a person who is already coaching a team, but he's just understanding, well, I want to improve. He think he has the necessary prerequisite. Where does he start at? What's the like? Could he come in and say, listen, this is what I've done. I've been in charge of this team. I even coach at this level. And can I do the B license? Or he has to go through?
No.
Okay.
No.
So,
he has to have the advanced level 2 as a prerequisite. And then the truth is,
but is that still being administered though? The
no,
advanced level 2?
No, it's going to be replaced by the CONCACAF C license.
Oh. Okay.
And then that is what he used to do, the B.
Okay, so some persons will have to work with what they have now.
Right, but remember, based on the B license, you still have to choose the candidate, because if you just have 24 spots, you kind of see the
I see what you mean.
You have 450 level 2 persons, so it's gonna have to be national. You're gonna have a criteria where it's a national team. You do those first because we have to have
understand.
Compete, and then you look at the Premier League and you look at the Super League. So it's gonna be like in that type of.
Whoa! And how do you? Because if you were to do it that way, you're probably not going to have anybody from out of the West, because there's nobody from there's no Western team in the Premier League.
Well, some of the time too, they usually catch up. Some of the criteria is usually to say give each parish one.
You start there and then you move on.
Try to make it.
Yeah.
No, you still start at the national level, because guess what? You want all the national coach to have that understanding. Remember, that's our showpiece, And then your Premier League, if you don't have one in your Premier League, we still want to give you one space, and then parishes will chip in after that.
And what if a parish say to you? Because I remember a few years ago, in the parish of Saint Anne, a team owner, a man who has a whole lot of money, had committed to giving the president of the parish money to do a coaching, to allow the coaches in the parish to be upgraded. So what if a parish says, listen, we have the money to pay for 10 of our coaches per se to do this? Do you still say, no, we still prefer to go through, to do it? I'm just trying to find, is it a financial issue why you have to do it that way? And if you had more money, you'd be able to do it wider, or is it just a management in terms of how many persons?
Well, put it this way: you have to look after the people who is not the national thing come first. So you definitely have to look after the national people first, right? So the B license is actually very expensive, Very expensive, A whole heap of money to do a B license course. So last time I checked, hundreds of thousands for you to do it. So you import the people to come down and do it.
Oh, so the B license, nobody in Jamaica, people have to come to do it, because
we don't have nobody can teach it in Jamaica. So we have to import. That's how the 24 person did it. 19 people passed, and it's a real course. You can see it's a friendship or gain the license here. It's a real course, so you have to do a mark by overseas people.
Oh, and the persons who fail get to resit? Or them just
Yeah, but not yet. Because of the pandemic, we didn't get to reset those 6 people. Right. So really, what is happening is that so we know we're supposed to pay for your next one for 24 persons, and again we have to be strategic about it. We're trying to make sure that all the parishes get allocated, and the national coaches and the Premier League like that. Because once we have one, but what we really go have with these B license coaches that we have now, they'll be able to teach a C license, CONCACAF C license.
Okay.
And a lot of them is in training now to teach that.
To teach it. Okay.
Yes.
So you'll probably have way more people doing the C license, because you have so many B license persons who can administrate it.
6 persons that is in training to teach a C license in CONCACAF C license in Jamaica. As soon as people of the 20 progress up to the A license, because we're trying to get some people to go under the A license,
Yeah.
then those people will be able to teach a B license here. So you see the
Okay.
progression.
Yes, yes. All right. Somebody said, will Paul Hall be in Jamaica to watch more of the JPL?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm out in job in UK, so I'm have to be there.
Yeah. All right.
So
All right. So, Speed, are there any plans by the JPL to improve the certification of other support persons like goalkeeper coaches, other youth coaches,
well,
probably trainers? Um,
yes,
and
there will be courses for goalkeeper coaches and trainers in the coaching school. When it comes to youth coaches, let me just give you a thing. I mean, the B license is really to teach youths. B license is to teach youths. So you see
okay.
how far back we were? The C license is not the C license is to teach grassroots, which means you teach seasons
And
old.
so the man who have a level two, you're saying based on international standard, the level two, which is equivalent to the C, is to teach grassroots football.
Yes. And the
Ridiculous.
B license is to teach youth. The A license is to teach semi-pro and top amateur teams, teams that want to get promoted. And the
Yeah.
pro license is to teach professional teams.
Okay. Yeah,
That's what's
very
supposed to obtain.
very interesting. Very interesting fact. All right, let me just run through these comments as we wind down in 15 minutes. How do we local coaches get information regarding cost, etc. of the license? I think you'll be select. But go ahead, Mr. Speed, you answer it. I think
Well,
because
I mean,
yeah,
it usually comes to your parish association. So if you, so when I mean your parish association would have your digits where how to contact you. So once a course comes on, we send it to all the parish association. In our cases, because the national team coach work for the national team, they'll get notification, and also the Premier League clubs will get notification. Because as you know, as I said before, the Premier League is a showpiece event of the country progress. So you have to, so those people will get notified.
okay. All right, let me just also, are there any plans to ensure that the clubs in Jamaica have a certain criteria to coach at the youth level? Which is really the license you're talking about.
Yes,
Are
because
yeah,
we know that we have like 2,000 teams in Jamaica that don't have a certified coach coaching them from primary school, whatever. So we know that there's a huge gap that we need to fill, and that's what we're working.
yeah.
We
And I
don't
think
want any team in Jamaica to be coached by anybody unless they're a certified coach. That's our aim.
yeah, and I think even at the female coaching level, because what I find is sometimes in the school that are not traditional like football in schools that you'll find I mean, thank God for GC Foster College, but you find a lot of persons who are physical educational teachers and they have the degree in that who may have done some level of coaching in their courses end up taking on, for example, a girls program because the and you understand me, because the school may not be able to afford it, and maybe there is a way that there needs to be a pool of coaches um that schools can look at and to say these are the coaches who are qualified as coaches for female,
Right. So
female.
we do have a database, and we have 950 coaches in there that have some certification at level one and level two. What we have started to do is try to target 30 female. We have the names already that we're going to be putting them in our course that deals with women, coaching women. Because our aim is for the national senior team, national women's team, to have at least one female attached to it. Also, the national Premier League that we play, we want females to be attached to the technical staff, and we try and bring them up. So that is something that we're doing, actively doing now to get that on track. So, as I said, the coaching, we know we're way behind. We should have been 20 years earlier to do this, but it's never too late for showering and working on it to make sure so that every single team have a coach that is certified, dynamic, know what they want to do, and try to bring out the talent that we have in the
All
next
right, this
5
one
years.
says, I think they're asking about Paul Hall if he was a temporary assistant coach, but
No, he is there for the whole World Cup qualifying campaign.
okay. So there you go. You'll have it. Any idea when the first C license course will be administered? What timeline does Peart have to get the program up and running?
First, well, we want to do one now. I don't, but we wanted to do one by September, and then we definitely have to do one by November because CONCACAF is going to come and grade us to see if we're up to standard with the C license. So, here, just to, I mean, he wants to talk for himself, but the program is up and running. He's going through all of the paperwork now, doing the, the curriculum committee is working in conjunction with him. We're coming up with the rules. It was the coach education. We're trying to educate the coaches. A lot of activities going on in the background. Now we're expecting to be ready in a month or two.
I hope he's not a busy man because I'd love him to come on because so many of the people who are on these channels are involved in coaching at some level. Some of them deal with teenagers. So it would
I'll
be
ask
good.
him, but remember one of the things in his job. We have to make sure that he's still coach. So he's also the coach of the national under 15 male team. So they're getting already away to go to the CFA coach.
Right.
So he's kind of busy doing that. But I'll ask him.
Yeah, because I think that would be good for persons to hear because um yeah. But very, very informative in terms of this whole coaching thing because I know there are a lot of people out there they want to improve but they don't know how do I get there. And so let me just say to you, Mr. Speed said it. Connect with your parish president because a lot of times this information goes to and through the to the parish presidents. I mean, I know Dimension is asking about Paul Hall and Whitmore watching the JPL game. Like uh, all right, so here's what I think. I think a coach like Cavaliers, for example, Mount Pleasant, I know they do this. They have people who go to game to watch players and give them report. And so I don't think a coach necessarily need to go to every game to watch because he's not looking for every player. He may go to particular game having received information about particular player. In other words, if I say to Coach Whitmore, hey, you know that I've been watching the Premier League for the last 5 rounds and I see a right back and his name is Scratchy P. All right, I think you should watch him. All right. Then he goes to a couple of Scratchy P games and watch. But I don't think national coach should go and sit down and watch every game and just look at every player to see who fit. The coach must. I don't know how it works, but I think if I were in that is how I'd want my coaching staff and scouting staff to be. Not to have Garrett Southgate cannot go to every single game in the Premier League. He cannot watch every game. He watch select games and he's also watching select players. What do you
Fine.
think, Mr. Speed?
No, you're correct. You're correct. I mean, he should go as much as he can to actually see the players in action to see if there's anything there that he wants. But he will not be able to go to
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Brian is saying that the information for the coaching stuff should be on the GFF website.
agree with you, Brian. But we have never had head of a coaching school before. So that focus that you're talking about now would not have been there before. Remember, coaching educator is the head of coaching now is a new thing. I think you're correct about the JFF website. I think you should be able also to apply it through the JFF website to the courses. So um, these are something that we're thinking about. So Brian, the suggestion, we're on it. We're on it. Yes.
What else he has to do? There's no competition. Yes.
Well, remember, Mr. Dimension, I mean, he has also has to look at the teams that playing overseas too. Remember to watch the EPL and the German league and the USL.
But not only that, the man
And,
have 5 weeks before the next thing. First, when he comes back, he has to look at every single player that went to the Gold Cup, all their performances. Look at that. Then he has to look at every game that was played, analyze all of those things. All right. Then he has to start
probably
looking to
use
get
the technology that he has that assists the
yeah.
players so if he has to pick between two left back or two right back, he can know which one on form, which one him
There
should
you
go
go.
if him
Check.
injured. So
Yeah.
it's a
Check.
dimension. It's not as easy as it.
He has to check which left back had the best passing accuracy, most interception, won the most aerial duel. I don't know if you know, but the Jamaica Football Federation have that kind of data right now. So you know which player has the best passing. I don't know if you know that, but the GFF has the capacity to tell you what player had the most best passing accuracy, most interception, all of these things. So I think at the end that the coach looks at these things and then he begins to make plans about who he's going to select, what he's going to do in terms of his training camp. So I think he needs to watch some games, but that must be based on specific games with specific players that he believes can add value to the national program. It takes 2 days to analyze it. It takes 2 days to analyze the players. him himself pick. Hey, Mr. Dimension, now me I wonder about your 2 days to analyze a player. You think it will take only 2 days to analyze?
Our whole team.
Let's look at Fisher, and let's use two names: Fisher and Alvis Powell. The amount of games they played. Look at the amount of passes they made. How many aerial duels they were involved with. Who won the most aerial duels? Look at how they were positioned offensively, how they were positioned defensively. All of these things, it takes a lot of time.
Well, not just that. It tells you about how much pass they're making in the attacking third, the middle third, the defensive third, how much duels you having at those respective places. What was the coach playing? Was the coach playing the high press? Suppose you decide to play high press and this coach when you play for no play high press, you have to think about. You might have to call him and say, say hello, you have to play that, and so we have to play. Come on, Mr. It's not like as me said before, if you have a C license, you have your coach.
How to play the game?
No. If you have a C license, you need a grassroots coach. So you go with like a pickup team, you go with a business house team, you go with one. It don't really matter what is going on. If it's scout, nobody just go play. But at the higher level, man, there's a lot of work put in for perform at that level. Even though I must tell you that Manchester United bought a coach for free kick alone, set play coach.
Yeah.
Right? Manchester City have mostly 5 or 6 other people who just do analytic work. I mean, they get the Champions League wrong, but they must analyze in a way. So, no, man, national team and professional team, not easy like that, man. You have to spend all your time.
Yeah. And let me tell you something. Then a part of that now is that he has to be watching the Mexico under-23 team, and the Mexico national team, because the Mexico team in the Gold Cup may be completely different from the Mexico team that will play in the World Cup qualifiers, because some of the players, Ochoa, I think the goalkeeper is at the 5 of the Mexican starting players are at the under-23 at the Olympics. So he has to be watching games to see, because the first game is against, not that, again, it's not him alone, but his entire team. So, yeah, man. But then I see something here from a technical perspective. Do you, as the head of the technical committee, recommend a system of play for the national team so that development can be tailored towards that system?
No. System of play for the national teams.
I think from senior to junior levels, and
so it kind of split in two. For the senior national team, as I said before, is the coach prerogative, and that is what happens every single place in the world. The coach decide. Remember, system of play. Used to have people talk about system of play. They talk about philosophy, etc., etc. You have to realize that if you look at all of the top teams, they are able to play in a lot of different ways. So, but there's 2 basic ways of play. Either you press the ball up the pitch or at some point in the field, or you build your team off a positional base, right? So you have this base where you work from. And as I just explained before, if you get trained to a certain level, you understand that if this person is strong on the counter attack, you might want to give them the ball and let them keep it, and you counter attack them instead. So the system of play now is not so casting a stone anymore, because of the flexibility and the knowledge that every single coach has. So you have to have this flexibility in yourself to change from one type to one. Because remember, football is played in the moments. Just remember that. If you don't have the ball, what are you going to do when you don't have the ball? If you have the ball, what are you going to do when you have the ball? So football is played in moments, when you attack, when you defend. If you're attacking from your half, if you're attacking from the opponent half, if you're defending the opponent half, you're defending from your half, or where you're doing transition. Who do what. So the system of play now is not so much Italy decides I'm going to play counter attack all the time. No. Is the moments more important, and it's more important for you to know what to do in the moments that arise. So you can come with a system and the team have the ball. So what is your system? Just pressing at the opponent off. Suppose the man can beat the press. What you gonna do? Keep pressing him up there? No, you have to change and find a way to defend that your own half. So that is why the top teams, you don't hear them talking about this system anymore. They talk about the moments and what you have to do.
Yeah.
Now,
And
of course, go ahead.
no man, go ahead. No man, go ahead, man. Good
Of
stuff.
course, of course, teams are blessed with certain things. So, like we best blessed with speed. So you could say counter-attack suit us because we're blessed with speed. But at the same time, you have to know what you do. If you just kick that ball long down the pitch and don't realize that you can short counter and then long counter, or you can short counter before, instead of long counter all the time, those are the things you have to understand about playing. So if you have some tall men down, they can head well. What a long counter going to do? Like nothing. So you have to put the short counter first and then your counter properly play through the lines. So this system of play thing is not so important anymore, like playing at the moments. And that is what all our top teams are learning to do, all our top coaches are learning to do. I remember me tell about the A license coach, what he learns to do
It's out to
is
beat
to
him.
count that negate everything where you have.
Yeah.
So he might have. So what they do now is train all the players in the moments and tell them which one we are going to use as a tactics on a given day.
Yeah. And I think sometimes we always say I think people misunderstand system with function.
Yeah.
So you have a system, but within the system there are different functions. I think what needs to be clear to players is what are the functions of a centre back in in
In the
Jamaica.
moments. In the
In the moment,
moments.
there you go.
In the
There
moment.
you go. So when I'm under the press, here is option A, option B, and so all players are. I think this is what the confusion out there is. Like
Yes.
I need to tell my players, like, listen, when we high press, here is your option A, option B, option C. All right. So you have all of those options. When we're playing the low block in the moments again, here is option A because all of those what option A is in a high press may be different from what it is in the low block. And I think what we need to do is to have the clear the functions within whatever system we are using. So the goalkeeper know when he needs to have the ball at him foot and play it at the back, or when he needs to, have these long kicks and how the team need to move, go come ball side, and we play the ball down there and this person. So it is what are our functions within the system.
And
And
remember why the moments are important. You're not playing against yourself. This is not training. The other coach have a tactic that him come with. You have to
yeah,
negate it, then instill yours on him. But you have to deal with him first. You know.
yeah, there. All right, so I think dimension like, all right. So let me see if I can break it down for you. Right. So there 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 is a there's a thing called aid systems. So build a car, there are aid systems. One man, for example, one man build the body, one man put on the wheel. So that person has a function, but it's called the system of making a car. But the person who puts on the car wheel knows how to do it. What needs to be understood clearly for the national team is say my son is going to play for Jamaica and he's a center forward. There should be something that I can know that a coach can tell him that allows him to function whether Jamaica is going to play the high press or a low block. You'll hear Craig Butler speak about this. You'll hear Rudolph speak about this. So his players know what to do within a system. Within a system, because you may play different away from home than you play at home, depending on even what the weather conditions are. You play a different way, but you probably have the same function in that way of play. And I think that is what sometimes we miss, and we need to take a hold of.
Right. So there is so if you say modern systems or modern formation, yes, everybody there is a formation or you set up generally. But if you notice all the good teams like Manchester City, in their top mode, well, look on Chelsea. In their top mode, you have two floating number 10. In them play the number 8, he play 2-10 and 2-6, right? And in their top mode, all of them end up with 5 in the 5 spaces across the line. And either them have something to have putting in wing back inside and the middle if you sit down beside the number 6, and them have two inverted wing back a play make from there, and then them have the two centre half behind. So if it, so that it never start out like him playing that, but in attack he might play like 2-3-5, right? And in defense, then you probably have him a play 5-4-1. So you say, so that is his system of playing.
Yeah.
But in the moments, him doing different things. Different.
Yeah. Listen, I think Downswell, I think Downswell was at the helm of the senior team before. I think
Downswell have the second highest win-loss record as a national senior team, and coach about 26 games though, only 26.
Yeah. And I don't think he's looking at that kind of role now in Jamaica's football. I think he's more looking at helping other coaches. Let me tell you, I know Downswell, right? Because he used to coach me at very young levels. I know him very well. Listen, I think his heart has always been to help other coaches get better. And I think that is the best capacity. I know he's not going to leave Reno, but here's what he's able to do.
He's the supervisor for the coaching school. He's in charge.
Yeah, and I think that is the best thing you can do for football.
And he's also a coaching educator. One of the only ones that is licensed to coach is C license now, as we speak.
Look at that. Right. Do you think our football program for development is on the right track?
Yes. We need help though. But yes, we're talking about coaching. We're talking about player pathway. We have a player pathway principle that we want to unleash. The pandemic is stopping us from doing it. So we know how, if you want to become a doctor, there's a pathway, right? But the school, they do this thing. So we have a similar one for football players.
This is what I think is important.
We want to put out, but because of the pandemic, we can't do it yet.
Okay.
But we have we also want to professionalize our women league to be equal to the men league, where women get paid by 2025. But the pandemic is holding us back. But all these plans are approved by the JFF board. There is some funding is found for it. The coaching education, which we're talking about, and we're talking to CONCACAF, FIFA, and UEFA. They are the ones holding our hands, guiding us through the process, so that we'll be able to be, in 5 years' time, we're supposed to be a different nation in football.
All right, so I know we have a lot of questions, but we have to run, so I'm going to take this last one. It said we have explained about the question, are there plans for us to do this, which is what the other person just asked, but this is a different way. How does the guy in Westmoreland, who is 12 years old, knows and he wants to play central midfield? How does the person in Westmoreland know how to prepare that 12-year-old so that he can get into the national team? I think
this is not in isolation. Let me answer quickly. It's not in isolation. Remember what I told you about getting the D-license coach more those coaches to coach the players, because we believe unless we get the coaches in place, the players will never know. Now the D-license coach will know how to teach about the moments, because that is what D-license is about. At that young level, you start to teach them about the moments. So if we had D-license coach all over Jamaica, like how Iceland have 70 for 300,000 persons, 70 D-license coach Iceland have, That's why they go to the World Cup. That's what we want to do with our D-license, that every single person, Tom, Dick, and Harry in Jamaica have it. So all the players would know about the moments from a young age, maybe 12. Them know about the moments already. So when they come to the higher level, right, and what we're going to do is establish elite youth teams in every parish, and elite youth teams for under 13, 15, 17, and 20. That's a player pathway we're establishing. So the best play against the best, and those best has to be coached by the best coaches. And in that way, we'll be able to, these players have the standard, know about the moments, and be able to move on to tactics when they come up with A-license coaches and pro-license coaches. So that's
Okay, so the plan is that in St. Anne, for example, you'll have an elite group of under 13, under 15, under 17, under 19.
No, under 17 or under 20, we're going to go to the professional units, which is the Premier League and the second tier league. Those have to play the under 17 and under.
Okay, but the under 13 and under 15, and all of these will go through the same B license coaches, meaning
Yeah,
they are learning the moments.
that's
And
the
what
plan.
that's the plan. Because what I'll say to you, listen to, if you have not, listen to Donovan Duki when he speaks after his games. Always say in the moment. And you know, if you know anything about coaching, you know that it's coming out of the coaching, out of the coaching manual. He always talks about the different moments in the game. Just listen to him when he
So,
speaks.
so he's a master at playing without the ball. People never,
Yeah.
if I tell somebody that, they must say, "Oh, you mean? No, you can play without the ball. You put people in the positions that you want them to be in, right? So people think you move the balls a lot of time. No, you move the men out of the positions that you want. So those are things that we learn in a B life.
Um, Mr. Dimension, listen. First, yeah. All right, listen. You have an opinion. Listen, I'm going to say this. Let me just say this, right? Because I'm not. Here's the thing. All right, could we have done better? Yes, but I'll say this to you. I think if we had gone, I would be more worried. Honestly, I would be worried if we went to the finals of the Gold Cup with this present team and won the Gold Cup. And here's why. I think it would have covered over some of the issues in the squad. And so how I see it, there's a part of me that has some delight that this is how the Gold Cup ended. So we can really look at the flaws in the team and realize that there's an urgent need to deal with them. Because one of the things that winning and success does is that it covers your shortcomings. And so as much as we want to beat the coach, and I agree with some of what people are saying, is that this is a good thing. No, the coach has no more excuses because he has clearly seen where the weaknesses are in the team. All right. As far as we, the general public, knows that there are other players available. So, as far as we, the public, are concerned, he now must go and select the players. Again, I don't believe to say we had the best squad at the Gold Cup. I don't even believe that that is that is accurate. I don't believe we have the best right back at the Gold Cup. I don't believe we are the best left back at the Gold Cup. I don't believe we are the best centre back at the Gold Cup. I don't believe we are the best centre forward at the Gold Cup. I don't believe we are the best number 10 at the Gold Cup. I don't believe we are the best box to box at the Gold Cup. So to say that we are the best squad in the Gold Cup is not the most accurate description or analysis of the squad. All right. Nonetheless, from out of bad, good will come. And I hope that the good that will come out of this is that the coaching staff and the technical committee that includes Mr. Speid and the entire GFF administration will look and plug the many holes in this team. How can winning, you're really asking how can winning covers your flaw? The man asked me how winning cover. Listen,
So Manning, so I was having a conversation with my player, and them say, "Coach, I prefer a ugly win than a pretty lose." Right.
yeah,
So I was explaining to the players. I'm trying to answer this question. If you play ugly all the time, you're gonna lose more time than you win. If you don't play good, you'll lose more time than you win.
yeah.
So you must always, it better you play good and lose your occasional game more than play
Play
bad and
bad
win
and
a
win
game.
by
I'm
luck.
trying, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But let me just say this. Let me tell you what happened. Success, let me say it again. Success has a way of covering flaws. It's a general principle in life that sometimes when people see success, they ignore their faults. In other words, we could have luckily beat the US, but this team, there were still problems in the team. We could have even gone and pass the US and win the next game by luck or play a good game and win. But that don't mean that we don't have issues in the team. We won 2. All right, let me ask. We defeated Suriname. We defeated Guadeloupe. Were there issues? Were there issues? Yes, there were. In fact, many people said that the game against the USA, we played well, but we lost. The goal is to win every game and every competition. Right? And again, I am not saying that the coach got it perfect. I do agree that there are many things he could have done differently. But here's the thing. My fear, you know what my fear was, Dimension? Let me tell you. My fear was that if this team performed well at the Gold Cup, it would have justified the coach saying that he's going to keep these same set of players. And I know that this crop of players, with any other coach, the crop up the 22 players, because Ravel Mars did that go. We don't have enough quality in depth with those 22 players to go to the World Cup. We need more players. But I believe if we had gone and won the Gold Cup with this crop of 22 players that went to the Gold Cup, it would have further encouraged the coach to believe that he can use these players for the. That's all I'm saying. So it's probably a good thing that we get knocked out of the quarterfinal, so we can say some players are not ready, and we need to bring in further reinforcement. All right, but we have gone past our time. Let me say again, big thank you to all the persons. I know many of you are watching. You may not have made a comment, but really, really, really appreciate you supporting the work, supporting the video. We take this seriously, and every Friday we seek to highlight our local league, our local players. We're working hard assiduously. We're working hard to get a couple of them to come and talk to you, so you can see them, so they can speak about the league. We also have a very, at week 7, we have a very, very special guest from the broadcasting company connected to the league who will be coming on to just give us his views from that perspective. One of our regular panelists, Mr. Pryce, isn't doing well, so hope he gets better. Again, thank you so much for tuning in, for the time, for liking the video, for subscribing, for sharing. If you have not done it, please like the video, subscribe, share, tell somebody that we talk about the JPL on this channel, right? Support the work. Everyone. I mean, IMAXi TV, I saw you, Dre, Any Weather, Karoom, I mean, Ganesh always here, Alex, Mr. Dimension. Big up yourself, man. Really appreciate the sharp comments. You kept us on our feet. I know you want me beat with more. Don't worry yourself. Brian, big up yourself. Barbara, who was on earlier. Piney, big up yourself. All of you. Like I said, I can't remember all the names. Marlon, a lot of respect. Really appreciate coming at Storytime Jamaica. Big you up as well. Thank you so much for coming on. And of course, how can we not again thank Mr. Speid that takes the time every Friday to come on and be with us. I know his team is preparing for a game, but nonetheless, he gives honest opinion. Nobody cannot say there's a leaning towards Cavaliers. There's a lean, you can't say that because he's honest and forthright with his comment. He every now and then he takes a stab at the question concerning the national team, although he's staying very far as possible from it on this particular channel. Remember, there are many other programs going on today. Go out and support them. All the bloggers, the vloggers out there, IMAXi TV, you have Ryan LFC, Sports Down the Middle, Coaches Desk, Sports Frenzy, Unseen Sports TV, Fort Official. So many of them doing so many work. Go and support them, check them out, and see what they're going on with. Listen, have a safe weekend. Don't miss the games tomorrow. Big hot games. Watch Cavaliers versus Tivoli. That game going to be fire. But that Portmore Harbourview game going to be fire. Go ahead, Mr. Speid. You have the last word.
No, I was saying yes. To, as them said, to miss is to this. Don't miss any JPL game this weekend. Fireworks. Very contrasting game. Some of the leaders going to be clashing. It's gonna be all good. I think the players are now finding their footing. If with the amount of goals that keep on scoring every single week, more and more goals now. Very exciting. Don't miss it at all. JPL exciting and going places.
Yeah, man. Where are the games being played? Same Captain Horace Burrell.
Captain Horace Burrell, yeah. I mean, the view is so wonderful. You know, I mean, it's proud to playing games in a venue like that.
Boy, I can't wait for us to sample the national stadium to see if it's ready for the World Cup qualifier. People, please, whatever we need to do, we need to make sure the country open up for the 5th of September. Do me a beg, do me a beg, people. We want the Prime Minister tell we say, listen, we can accommodate 20,000 people in National Stadium for Jamaica versus Panama. So people, whatever we don't need to do, come make we work together so we can at least have some spectators.
Yes, and we must come out and support our national team.
Yeah.
I mean, we need the money, so don't worry.
Yeah, we don't want the stadium playing weird that no spectators are allowed. We can't deal with that. So please, people, make we keep the city locked.
And if you forget your vaccine, get your vaccine. Because do your thing. Do what you have to do. If you don't want the vaccine, I'm okay. Still more.
Yeah, man. All right. So, Mr. Speed, all the best this weekend. I mean, in your game and stuff. All the best to you and your players. Again, thank you so much. And the league looking good for real. And thing. Yeah, man. Have a blessed weekend. And we'll see you next week, Friday, same time. And I am sure sports.
I am sure sports. You know me there, I'm coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is right, just representing for Omar. You don't know, come get the sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that mean me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that mean me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that mean me not say it. Know who score, that mean me not say it. Never know no game play, that mean me not say it. If me never see no game, me not know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here. For the day done, you are gonna love over yourself.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment. Let me know what your thoughts are.